Hi, everyone. Welcome to the show. As soon as you get a chance, I'm just going to do a couple of things here, but as soon as you get a chance, just give me some 5-5s. I'll check the microphone setting. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the show. The other thing, as soon as you get a chance. Like a rumba. There, that's better. Hello, a lot of 5-5s. A lot of 5-5s. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, so boy, we're gonna have a great show today. Now, this is, and I'm only slowly being brought up to speed on this, but this is Eugene's baby, but also, excuse me, King Raji. And I've never met King Raji before. So I'm slowly being brought up. So this is not my creation. This is entirely Eugene and King Raji, and everyone's lining up in the waiting room, just waiting on Josh here. So I'm going to start bringing everyone in. Colleen has made time to be with us as well. So yeah, this is really exciting. Truth is what this is all about. And we should only ever be loyal to one thing. And the one thing that we're loyal to is the truth and only the truth. It's the only thing that sets you free and it'll never get you into trouble. And everyone else out there who speculates is getting themselves into huge trouble. So truth is what it's all about. And based on what I can see and hear, that's everyone who's here on the show today. This is what they do. They speak and they live the truth. So it's very, very exciting to have everyone here because this is what it's all about.
Hey,
there's Santos Bonacci. There's Eugenio. Oh, there's SJC, Mr. Justin Carpenter.
Hey, guys.
And there's King Raji. There's an of Raji. Oh, there's fantastic. Welcome everyone to the show. Love you all because you stand in the light of God's truth, and that's all that truly exists. So, and this is where we've gone very, very far wrong because everyone has drifted away from it. So thank you everyone for keeping the many on the path that is straight and narrow, and for all the things that you've done and what you embody, which is the truth. And, you know, everyone here is doing their bit, but I always like when we have Santos with us, excuse me, I always like to start with Santos because remember everyone, you go back 13 years and it was Santos in a dark black storm out there, and there was Santos, and he was this light of beautiful truth, and that's what brought Colleen and I into all of this, was Santos connecting the dots, showing us that this is all God and this is all God's creation, and it's encoded everywhere. It's encoded with you. It's as above, so below, is within, without, as with the universe, so with the soul. It's all one, and that all you ever needed to do was get into alignment with his frequency. And everything they do is to keep you out of alignment with his frequency. And it literally is that simple. The truth is always simple. So welcome to the show, everyone. I'm going to pass it over to Genio and Raji, and it's their show.
Yeah, I mean, wasn't Santos one of the first ones on the stationary flat Earth?
Oh yeah, well, Santos was teaching stationary flat Earth, firmament, center of all things, even when he wasn't necessarily saying, you know, that it was, or doing podcasts specifically. Just everything that Santos taught was always referencing it, and everything he taught, because it's the truth.
All righty. Well, I did send an email to Josh, so hopefully he'll be joining us soon.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank you guys for having me on last minute. It's so good to see y'all. Raji, brother, it's always good to meet you and good to see you in person. thank you for sharing your wisdom with us. I've got little bits and pieces here. I did have to update my phone, so our WhatsApp group, I lost all that good stuff that you had shared, but I'm sure there'll be plenty more of it.
Thank you so much, Justin, and thank you so much, Charlie and Eugene, for holding this space. And I'm sure we're going to have a beautiful sharing today. So thank you.
And do we want to clear up some misunderstandings, just on the basis of our community and such, from the get-go?
Oh, if you want to bring up the one little thing, and it's not within our community, it's just floating out there, but that is just brutal. So, but if you want to address that, you certainly can.
Got it. Yeah. So, I mean, people have been saying that, that we're lying about what's happening here. And I can attest, as a firsthand bystander or, firsthand person who's not, directly in the family, but came to be a part of the family, that this is all real. There's nothing that we're lying about here. When we say the government, the Matrix came in, sawed off someone's door or our sister's door and came in and took her baby. That's not a joke. It's not something to joke about. So it's not something to lie about either, because we're just laying out the facts. And similarly, just with our dogs recently, since the past couple of days, there's been almost like a coronavirus outbreak within the dogs. And we all know corona is fake. So obviously it has to be some kind of a man-made something. We don't know. So all of these things, we're just telling you that we're not making this up to get any kind of attention. We're actually saying, we don't need the attention. You can give us attention if you want to follow the truth or not. It's up to you. It's your choice or no choice, right? So, yeah. Is there anything else you would want to add to that, Justin or Charlie?
I'll specifically just address this. What the average person wants to think or believe in is entirely up to them, and I have nothing to comment about it. There's an infinite number of voices out there, and most are completely full of shit. Whether they mean to be or not doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is that there is a fraction of a single percent that are telling the truth, which is what Colleen and I and this group embodies, which is the truth. And we can speak it because we live it in every single moment. So there's a bit of a breakaway group from some business that Justin needed to take care of, and they've been sort of spreading some things. I really don't care at all. But when you make a comment that the situation that Colleen, Sinead, myself, and of course Dante are going through by having somebody with a giant saw come cut down their door, and then the police put me in a chokehold, steal the baby, and then we're on our fourth lawyer now since, because the other ones have sold us out. And nobody in Mexico cares until we were put in touch with that wonderful senator from Mexico City who put us in touch of our current lawyer, and the wheels of justice are slowly beginning to turn. But in Mexico, they don't want the wheels of justice to turn. So everybody is fighting this. And now we're literally looking at another few weeks before even beginning to be able to get Dante back. It's just incredible. So when you make a comment that says that this isn't real, fuck you. You're a piece of shit. And I don't have a lot more to say other than that. But Colleen and I, for as long as we've been here, so 12 years, we've been front lines with saving animals, and Eugene is a huge help, so he knows all about what that's like. Right now we have this another man-made virus that's just trying to kill our animals. It's not like they have a temperature. Whatever it is, yet again, is trying to kill them. And Colleen and I are all day and all night doing all the protocols that we need to keep them alive, and then having to do everything else on top of that, including deal with an entire system in Mexico that is pure corruption. So we will bring them down as part of all of this as well. And again, this is Book of Revelation, so everyone is being forced to declare themselves. You find yourself on the wrong side of Colleen and I, you watch what's going to happen. That's not a threat. It's just the truth. It is the truth. We have aligned ourselves with God in every single thing that we do, and we're doing our best. And for all everyone here knows.
Darren, yes, we are doing MMS.
Yeah, we are the MMS protocol with DMSO, and it's the only thing that's keeping them alive right now. The only thing.
And
So
super quick, I just want to say Santos lost his internet just magically because obviously we're causing ripples and you know we're literally shattering the matrix. So please come back and Josh, we would love to welcome you if you and Santos have anything to say.
Hey guys, sorry, my internet went out and I just had to wait for it to come back. So at first I thought it might have been the whole thing went down, but it was only me. Yeah. Anyway, things happen. How are you all you guys?
Great to see you guys. Hi, Josh. Hi, Santos. Hi, Raj and Justin and Eugene. We love you so much. Thank you for being here.
Likewise. Great.
Thank
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's good to see you, brother. It's always good to see your face. I appreciate seeing you.
Lovely.
Yeah, it seems like Josh is still in the call, but he's just you know, he's not present just yet. So yeah, did you want to say something, Colin?
No, I was just asking if Josh was listening.
Well, and just to sort of wrap up the comment, if anyone wants to hear my thoughts on the whole situation, I just posted a recording on my Telegram on addressing the situation with Dante and the lies that are being spread. So I did want to clarify that the lies are now that you guys are running a cult and you were force feeding Dante fruit all the time. And so the father came in and broke in and broke the baby out. So that's the angle that's being taken now. You know, and anyone can take a second to go look at any picture of Dante and see that's the healthiest, happiest baby you could possibly imagine. So it's ridiculous the lengths that people are going to, but that's what I said very plainly. If you want to believe that nonsense, go away, get behind me, Satan. I have nothing to do with you, and I'm not going to babysit you if you're going to believe that nonsense. Like, I don't want any part of it. So, and anyone encouraging that kind of stuff, I don't want any part of you either. If you're even hinting at that, if you don't have it, when you're dealing with something like this, if you don't have just a wall of evidence to present when you're making some claims like that, then you're out of your mind, because you're throwing shade on a very righteous situation. You are out of your mind. So just go away, go away. We don't need you. We don't need your support. We don't need your help in that sort of situation, because if you're going to be like that, you're choosing powerfully, and you will have your just reward. So I'm not speaking to anyone that is showing support, but anyone who's dipping into that level of depravity, have fun with your choice. Have fun with it.
Yeah, me and Raji love to say, come back when you're ready. Come back when you can listen. Come back when you can gather your attention, please.
Yeah, Dante is a very, very special creation, and he is so smart, and he's so healthy. It's ridiculous. He's never been sick in his life. And the thing is, with children, you don't force feed them fruit. They naturally gravitate to what is, which is fruit. So it's not force feeding. We just don't go out of our way to murder sentient creations of God and then try to force feed that, you know. So if you're still on this globe ball, everything is ball. If you're on this spinning ball and killing cows and you know, drinking cow's milk all your life, when a cow stops consuming it after about 4 months, you know, that's entirely up to you. You want to live the lie. That's the show, by the way, the show I'm doing Friday night, which is 107.1 FM, our Friday night live shows. And that is simply this, and it's so simple, but it's so powerfully true. When you embody and live the truth, you will live. God is the God of the living, not of the dead. So if you embody and live the truth, speak it, but walk it, the truth, you shall live. There's no death in truth, because truth is level. Level means truth, and that is life. And you know this because God is God of the living, not of the dead. When you embrace lies, you're dying. This is the duality. And there is no ending. It just means around and around and around you go. And then as Raji and and Eugene say, come back when you're ready. But until that time, there's no free pass. Around and around you go. And the mercy of God is that every time you go back around the wheel, you fall lower and lower and lower until you hit bottom. And then when your feet touch bottom, maybe then you'll start looking for some air, which is the ether, which is God. And it's entirely up to you. So that's what you're up against. The truth will give you life, and lies will give you death. And that's why they're on 365. That's why they're on 24/7, 365. And that is entirely why everything is a lie. Not some things, not most things. Charlie, I'm with you on most things. But of course, they're not lying about, gravity and the spinning, wobbling, twisting, turning global Earth. They're not lying about that. Yeah, they're lying about everything. And that's because lies mean death, and the truth, which is light, which is level, means life. And it's that simple.
And super quick, I feel like, and belief just displays that word completely. And we know from Pisces, the 2 feet is belief and doubt. So when you are in the lie, you are split. Whereas when you are in knowing, or when you are on the equinox, when you are equal, it seems that there is no difference between you and him. And I just want to say, Justin, I think you were going to say something, but right after that, Raji, if you have any questions to open up the show, please ask them. And if not, I'll ask some questions. So go ahead, Justin.
Yeah, Justin, you can go, and then I can go after. Yeah,
Sure. Yeah, and just quickly, just going to reiterate, I know we talk about this choice a lot, but it is so paramount. It's so important that we remember the truth is very simple. You're presented with 2 choices. Right now, you're presented with 2 choices. You have to go one way in order to unify. You have to go all the way to the right in order to come back to the center and unify. There's no unification without that step. So I do want to, just add that little caveat in there, because yes, unification is certainly the goal, but we have to powerfully make that righteous choice first. We have to go all the way to the right, subdue our ego, subdue the left-hand side, put it in its place. It's only 10%. It should stay 10%. And then we can unify as the whole, bring the 90 and the 10 together. So did want to clarify that, because I think that's, a point of confusion with a lot of, just love and light, forgive, like, don't worry about what they're doing. Like, don't worry about it. It's like, no, we need to worry about what they're doing. Not worry, but we need to take righteous action, imbue that righteous anger that's caused by this level of injustice, and do the appropriate action from that, transmute that into the appropriate measure that needs to be taken to combat that violence that's being perpetrated on all of us. And until we end all violence, then we will continue to suffer.
Lies are violence, Justin, and that's why you have to confront the lie and live with the truth. The truth is just be in flow. And really quickly, but this takes us right to maritime admiralty law and why all the words are the way they are. And nobody knows this better and teaches it better than both Santos and Josh. But life is the river of God, which is through the mother. And you flow eternally in harmony in the flow, which is in the center, which is 1, 2, 3. It's easy as A, B, C, do, re, mi. I'm talking about baby, you and me, right down the middle. But everything they do is to pull you into the eddies, which are on the banks of the river, where you deposit your sweat equity and your intellectual property into the hands.
And your semen.
D, and your semen. And D is to take away. You deposit to a bank, and a bank is an eddy, which doesn't flow. It is the opposite of the flow. And so they've got you on the side, and you'll believe whatever it is that they want you to believe. And it's that simple, as Justin was just saying. Stay in that center path. Confront the lie every time. You don't have to hate. Don't hate, but confront the lie. When there's a lie presented, confront it. What people then choose to do is entirely up to them, but you must confront, because con is with, and it literally means with God, and front and center is here and now. So when you confront the lie, you are present in the moment, and all that exists in the moment in presence is truth.
Yeah, and super quick, Raji, you're going right after me, all right? And it seems like the reason why we are such a revolutionary movement is because we are a movement of peace. And like Charlie said, it's not about hate. it's coming from the love in our hearts. That's why we want to come and join together, in truth, as one, because the hate, that's division. That is conflict. That is a conflicted mind. So I just want to make that clear, that we are the way of water and fire, but water because we're not trying to harm anybody. We're trying to bring everyone back to the truth and cleanse this world. Raji, please open this up.
What's up, everyone? Charlie, what's up, Eugene, Justin, brother Santos. I forgot Charlie's wife's name. Sorry. What's your name?
Colleen.
Colleen. What's up, Colleen? Yes. And Joss, brother Joss, X. So, guys, we just want to say, Elders of Zion, this is the revelation, guys. We are revealing everything. We are wrapping all this information that have been accumulated. There is so much information. We are wrapping it, and we're going to the point. It's all about Zion. We are now going to reveal everything. What Zion is, what the dimensions are, why are we here right now in this time, and are we going anywhere? Yes. And this is about Eden. We are going to Eden. So I wanted to make a show about that with Eugene, and we wanted to invite these beautiful, beautiful beings into the show. And that's it. I feel that's what we are going to talk about. So I give a question to you guys. What's the next step for the viewers that are watching on how they can take this step closer to Eden? How can we as a collective come closer to Eden? That's my question to you.
And maybe I can narrow it down just a little bit. It seems like this is the answer. Don't you guys think?
It is.
Yeah, well, I think just to sort of practically look at that question, it really is particular to each individual on what aspect might need to be improved on the most. So it's a holistic approach on all these different avenues. The Garden of Eden lifestyle is the breath we take and the food we consume. So any of those areas where we fall the weakest in, where we're suffering the most, we're experiencing the most pain, that's God's invitation to us to say, hey, this might be a particular area where you can work on. This might be something where if you lean into it and embrace it, you can improve to a scale that you haven't ever been to before. But people confuse that suffering as if God is somehow punishing me or making me do something or whatever else. No, it's just this encouragement to push us along and help us get back onto the path, to return to the garden. We left, but we could always return. God never cast us out and said we can't return. We can't return until we've completed this process. It's not going to be freely given. There's no med bed that's going to take away all the work that we have to do. And I want to clarify that. I do think there are healing technologies out there, but I do want to caution people who use those technologies as an excuse to not do any work. This all has to be taken on. We have to, just like Eugene held up, that atonement, that recognition that we are one, and we have deviated, we have strayed, we have fallen. And so in order to correct that, hey, Josh, hey, brother, it's good to see you. Your mic is open, just by the way. Just want you to be aware.
My mic is muted. Can you hear?
No, you're good. I can just hear you.
Beautiful. Well, sorry to interrupt. You carry on, brother, and it's lovely to be with you all. Have a good carry on.
Absolutely. Yeah. So just to finish that thought, when we are away from that at-one-ment, when we're away from the one mind, then we are suffering. And so everything that we can do to return back to that one is going to reduce that suffering. So that's the whole journey, right? Like that's all what we're here to do. We decided to dip into this insanity, dip into the duality, dip into the experience of it all for the sake of the experience, to learn from it, and then to return and compare notes and to maybe do it again, or maybe decide we don't want to do it again. I don't know, but that's where we are now. So we have to recognize the truth within that and take those very tangible, very actionable steps to say, I'm ready to return. I'm ready to return home. I'm done playing this game. I'm done playing this suffering, this pain cycle. I'm done with it. So any step that we can, I know that it's different maybe for every person, but we talk about the breathing, we talk about the meditation, we talk about the food, we talk about, just your general demeanor towards other. Josh beautifully breaks down the virtues. Like that's the secret to how we live and operate and return to that one mind. Because when we can recognize that each other self is just an aspect of me, and any sort of disconnect that we have is just an unresolved aspect of myself, then we can continue working towards that. But it's a holistic approach. And so that's why every single avenue has to be considered. And then one has to be really honest and practical with themselves and say, okay, this is the area where I really excel. So maybe I don't need to spend as much focus on this. Let's focus on the areas where I'm weaker. Let's focus on those areas where I can improve on, so I can achieve that balance, and then just continue growing as a whole. So yeah, that's just kind of my general take on that question. Thank you, Raji. That's a beautiful one.
Wonderful, Justin. And Josh, just a big freaking welcome for you, man. I'm so glad you are here. And it's funny because you walked in right on at one minute. So right when we start talking about becoming one, suddenly you come in. And so, yeah, just Raji opened it up saying that it's the journey of Eden. And of course, that's the journey of the one mind. So so Charlie, Santos, Josh, please comment.
The fastest route to the self is the absolute surrender of all concepts. All we need to do is dissolve any question that arises within inside ourselves. And that's it. We need to absolutely surrender this relay, the commentary of the processing of our intelligence. And there is nothing else. The action of doing is the action of eluding the truth. So every time that we reach for something, we're never going to find the ultimate, because it's the recognition that you are the absolute, the subject reality of the self, that everything within is without. And there is no other truth. You are the dreamer having one wonderful cosmic dream. And that recognition of the dream makes the dreamer become free from the dream that it's created to trap itself within itself. And that's the most beautiful truth. Is we continue to search, we continue to grasp, we continue to try different concepts for something which is seeing all of this take place. The all-seeing eye, which is the great conspiracy of all conspiracies, is that which you truly are and have always been. You have never not been this. So it's the cosmic joke. You don't need to do anything because you're already it. You need to surrender. The healing takes place when there's a great knowing that the healer is a concept that arises within the eye which sees the play. And you surrender to this life, and there's no need for a pain body. There's no need for these diseases. And then we continue as we build the intelligence up within inside ourself so much that we absolutely miss this tower. And these are the twin pillars of Freemasonry. And Freemasonry is to free us, to free the mother sun. To free, the word free is matter that rightfully establishes to the E, which is ether, which is blue shift, which is the divine, the feminine. If we want to talk the concept realm, we are in search of something. We are all masculine, whether we are male or female. You are a female or a womb man. Alpha wave, in search for the Z ion. And this Z is a frequency that only enters this being when one surrenders the mind itself. Because the mind is the intelligence which exists in the reciprocation of the information that is stored within inside the vessel, or the concept of the vessel itself, because this vessel doesn't even exist. You are the dreamer dreaming. And every time you go to sleep at night, you wake up as yourself and you fully surrender to that. Can you do this in a wakeful state? The champ see the vibration of the alpha balance with the light. This is the champ.
And in Spanish, don't they call mushrooms champignon?
Yeah, champion. This is the journey of man. We build ourselves, we build our temple, or we build our home or our house into a temple. And once we've turned this vessel into a temple, we must clean it. We must rid ourselves of all of these concepts that we have built to fundamentally have that inner realization or recognition or revelation that we are the creator of all of these concepts. And they have arisen from us for this wonderful cosmic game to experience what it's like as an expansive technology. You see, from the very beginning of self, we could say the void, the nothing, the O, the womb. This is the truth. And from this play, the lucid began to dream. And you see, a great thing to bring into this reality or this conversation, we could say, is Lucifer. You know, this great concept of Lucifer, the devil. Who is he and why does he haunt me? And demons, you know, D is to remove, mon is the one. Demon removes the one. All demons are thought forms, don't exist inside the intelligence or the intellect. Lucifer, if you see the word is L-U cipher. This L is the 12, which represents the blue shift and the red shift, depending on if you're a alpha or omega or alpha or Z, you know. And Lucifer is the light bearer or the bearer of light and is the angel of music. All physical reality is related to a frequency, an energy, and a vibration. We could call this the cosmic play of music. Lucifer is the bearer of light, but he is the last angel before you find yourself as the guardian. This is a recognition that all light itself is false. All light is an expression from within inside. And we have created all of these concepts from the magnetic field, photons, everything for our own avatar belief to go into this realm, experience, figure out, continue to get lost, continue to search to find out you are already that. That's the focus. Focus. F, matter. O, void. The matter and the void, see in your sine wave. That's just focus here. You are that.
It is the focal point, wouldn't you say, Josh?
Absolutely. And there is no search. So we can cool off the search. And every time the intelligence arises within us and says, let's look for something, I divert my attention, or I would divert my attention to here, where the perceived reality is right now. Now, reversed is the one. To one is to win. And this is the space where the presence is. And presence is pre-sense. And pre-sense is before senses. And innocence is in no sense. So we're in no sense. And how do we become pure? And what is this immaculate concept? To be immaculate is to be clean. And a concept, we all know this is an idea. So all ideas must be immaculate and clean. So have no idea. Take no ideas with you in the moment. And be in joy. Because this is life. You see, the idea of stillness, there is no thing. So in the stillness, you have decided to create. Now, within the creation of the stillness, you have formed a construct that allows yourself to go in and to play and to trap oneself. But beyond this space, when one has the recognition and the revelations that they are that, you create. This is heaven. You dream again. But you dream that which you choose to dream.
And Josh,
So-
super quick, I just want to interject here because I want to say in the Matrix, they go into the construct. and you see Neo and Morpheus battling, and Neo realizes, oh, he is the original. So when he realizes that, suddenly he is beyond the construct. Isn't that what you're talking about here, Josh?
Absolutely. You see on struct, the sine wave ST, sine wave of the physical, UCT physical. So the construct itself is to see on the sine wave of the physical that you see physical. And this is the artificial reality that's presented with us here. But it's only through revelation. You will never find the self through searching. It's only found in contemplation, via meditation, but not found in meditation practice. Because practicing is having to try. Meditation is an act of surrender. So in your act of surrender, you will find the truth in your contemplation, that you are the subject reality of the self, and everything that you experience comes from within. And this has always been the case, but the reality works fundamentally to the intelligence. And this is why one takes the journey and builds up via the virtues and starts to act kind and sees the reality respond and starts to give charity and sees that they get more abundance and starts to be diligent and realizes that everything's starting to clean itself up. And then you bring this temperance and balance to all situations, and your nervous system corrects itself and all alignment starts to happen. And then this wonderful truth continues to reveal itself. And if you play with inside the realm, you can learn absolutely everything. I mean, learn is L earn. You earn this L. It's not something which is found unless one has a guru, because the guru is not the being. It's not the person, it's the being. When one connects to the being, they are not the guru. The guru is IS, the consciousness sine wave. This is the guru. And look at the word G, you are you. You have never not been this. Absolutely. You were born into sin, the sine wave that is in, the sine wave of consciousness that has ended. It's ending the awareness of the sine wave within itself. Lost. Look at the word backwards. T is physical, soul. How do you find the truth? How do you find the soul? Look at the words. I, sol, at ion. Isolation. Solitary. Solution. The place is within. It's never been without. And you have never been without. A material play. So welcome to the material play. It's a very wonderful space. All of the energy, the flow, the words, the space that we have to share. So I will give some time for others to speak. Thank you for my piece, and I love you all. I'm grateful for this. Thank you.
Santos. Thank you, Josh. That was brilliant beyond description. Santos.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you so much, brother. That was a lot of contemplation and a lot of beautiful truths come together like that so wonderfully. Once you realize and you witness yourself as the witnesser instead of doing and participating in the ego game and all of this, and you stand aside and you see what's going on, everything changes. So this is called, the Neoplatonists would call that the higher mind, the divine mind, which comes from, which is the capacity of all humans, especially the more evolved ones. I don't know whether the ones who are just recently incarnating through, are going to get that capacity or activate it, but it is in the capacity of all of us to enter into the divine mind. This is when the scripture says that when I'm knocking on your door, open, because I will come and have an evening meal with you. So, in other words, when the higher mind calls, that contemplation that you were talking about, in contemplation and surrender, not meditating, because that's doing meditative practice, like a doctor who practices. Yeah, he's just practicing and killing people. And this is what I find with people who meditate as well. They think, it's like it's a word that will make them a guru status just by the fact that they know how to say the word. Like, oh yes, I meditate 30 minutes a day, and I make sure I go and meditate, and they're so keen to let you know how they take time out and do it. And it's like I know that when I wake up in the morning, I surrender. And so I'm in meditation all day, in prayer all day. I'm always praying. I'm always talking with God, who is me, and who is dreaming with me. What a great dreamer he is. What a great creator he and I are. And I am you. And you will have to agree. You cannot sit there and say, no, we dudded. We didn't do a good job. We all have to agree that we did a pretty good job. And it only gets better. It's getting better. And the reason being is, I'll tell you why, because both you and I are getting better at witnessing and creating. We're actually doing better every day. I know I am. I'm getting healthier every day. I lost my health about 2 months ago with all the people dying around me, and I got myself trapped. I got myself really in a bad way. I've never, ever lost my health in my life, ever. And I was down 10 kilos. I put 10, get this, guys, for all the people who say, oh, you can't do it with plants, you need your protein and animal fats. I put 10 kilos on in 5 weeks, just on fruit and some vegetables. That's it. 10 kilos in 5 weeks. 10 kilos in 5 weeks. So for people who, we don't have to argue with them, and we don't have to defend ourselves. Our position is the true one, because we have found the one. And that one is with us all the time and always was with us. And so we know directly that it is the right way. So I stuck to my guns, and I just trusted that the magnetic electric universe and the conscious energy of God would restore my health, and that I would do it. And so I chose health, and I got it. So yeah, we're getting better. We really are. And some of these conversations, all of our conversations are on a different level now. So yeah, let's just keep expanding. I think expanding is a good word, or ascending. Ascending is good. You go up and you expand in consciousness, because essentially we get to a point where we can know all things. We don't choose to, and we don't at any given point know everything, because that would be too boring. But we will get, and we are there, where we can know all things. But the beauty of the time-space continuum is that we can just choose not to know it, what the future will be, or whatever. It's all now anyway. But the thing is, we know now that we have access to all things, so we can say, I know, as Aquarius says it. So we start with, I am Aries. I have a body. I think, Gemini. Cancer, I feel. Leo, I will. Then you get to all the way over to the 11th sign, I know. And, if you haven't fulfilled that labor, the 12 labors of Hercules, or the 12 archetypal missions that we have, then you won't get to the last one where, you know, belief of Pisces on the positive side will do everything that you want and need. As Jesus said, you will do things greater than I can do, that I'm doing. All right, I'll hand over to someone else.
Can I just mention one thing just quickly? You know, sometimes when we give our attention or we fall trapped with our attention back on the intelligence, that these scenarios such as ill health arise within inside of us. And therefore the very transcendence of the fear of death that lies deep within inside our nature. Usually the very last thing that we have is this innate fear of death. All fears are directed to the ultimate fear, which is death. So if one is observing life in the virtuous way by understanding that everything is being related to them instantaneously through their own interpretation of reality and sees it with slight fortuning, then you can easily, you know, fix yourself through this surrender of this fear, because life has brought you to a state where ill health has presented itself to you and will continue to present itself to you until you have liberated yourself from this fear. So these things actually manifest within inside ourselves for our help, and this is all life has ever been. It has been for us, by us, not to us. And everything within inside this reality, especially Babylon, you know, the Babylon, the world itself, all of these concepts, all of these struggles that we see within inside the world, it doesn't exist unless your attention is there. Here is the beauty, and it lies in the moment, direct in your experience. But Babylon is to be able on. And we all know the righteous is able. We all know to become enabled, we have to live in able. And how do we be enabled? And what is this bull that they're talking about? The Bible. And which one do we need? Which is the bull, B-U, the Taurus, the bull, B-U, double L, this double L, this, the two L's, even in the middle. To become level, you must balance yourself with these two L's. L, Eve, L. Even the word revelation is R, Eve. And then you can see the L ion. Everything is balance. Everything. This whole reality, this whole experience is balance and union with these two energy fields, removing intelligence to allow yourself to flow once again. You've never not been this, but all concepts have kept you to this. So the ultimate space is continued surrender. But it was the ill health that I wanted to point to here. Obviously, we have certain technologies such as fruit, that is the real food for you, and a certain system that does well on just water-only fasting, and then a wonderful refeed, which needs to be taken lightly if it's very extended, just because when the body goes into a ketosis state, this is the elimination state where the body just removes absolutely everything. But if you dump too much in a gorge of glucose, when the system's not actually using glucose as a fuel, you just need to be very careful. So just introduce fruits that aren't too high in glucose, and then refeed yourself wonderfully, and then build up this beneficial bacteria inside your stomach, which refeeds your body through the intestinal tract. And as it does, it will remineralize and restore and regenerate and recuperate. And you will find that everything is 8, and it's innate. And this is why when you eat, you have 8. And this is innate, and it's in everything. This is the climate. This is the climate change that we're going through right now. This is the whole perceived reality that we see. This is this Kundalini shift of energy that is the rising serpent, and is not found through the breathing or the practices of meditation. It is found in the elevation and evolution of your own self.
It seems Aries to Libra, Cancer to Capricorn, all in the 8, right? Go ahead, Justin.
Well, just wanted to just add a little to the expansion idea. Santos mentioned expansion. Josh just mentioned expansion, because a lot of people have this misconception that evil is the antithesis of God. Evil is a construct as part of this duality. It's not. It's there to give us this texture while we play this game. But the actual antithesis of God is stagnation. God is wanting to continually expand, to continually learn and grow, and for us all to be expanding. So all these mechanisms are in place, like the stars that are all these celestial bodies that are constantly shifting. They're always giving us new energies to work with. And just like free will, it provides this intangible way to randomize every single outcome, so that there's always an expansion. There's never that stagnation. And then all of these challenges that we're presented with, like Josh mentions, these things that we can either view happening to us, we can play the victim role and we can learn and expand that way. There is something to be gained from that. But should we choose to embrace those challenges and see them as something to rise up from, a challenge to grow from, then we're really embracing what God's intention is for us. And it's to take that challenge on and to expand from it. God's saying, hey, like you're good at that level. Like you've done the work. You're at a good spot, but let me introduce you to something different. Let me give you a new challenge. And the more that we embrace those challenges, the less suffering that we have to endure in order to grow from those challenges. When we eagerly embrace the challenges and say, I'm ready for this, then it doesn't have to be uncomfortable. The discomfort is only a result of our negligence or our stubbornness from wanting to embrace the challenges that God is providing us. So again, the antithesis of God is not evil, it's stagnation. So anytime that we're stagnant, God is always going to be prompting us to grow, because that's what we all wanted to do anyway. We just kind of forgot we wanted to do that. But we've got to remember that we want to grow, we want to learn and expand. So everything is designed for us, and it is all for that expansion, because that's what God truly wants, is to expand.
And at the same time, it's also contraction, isn't it, people? We all know this. It's all one. So really, it's you disperse, you expand, and then you come back to the center point. Isn't that how the torus field works? I think so. So yeah, keep talking, peeps.
So I was going to say the STA is always related to the sine wave physical alpha. So anything sta doesn't move. It stays here. Carry on. Sorry, please.
So getting back to the original question from Raji, I mean, where are we supposed to be? How do we get there? Everything starts with one simple fundamental. So this will become your walk, but if it doesn't become your inner talk, then there is no getting there. And everything starts by casting thy net to the right. It's so simple. It's been taught since antiquity because it is the way home. And that's everything that Santos has been saying. And Santos, that was brilliant. And Josh, that was absolutely brilliant. Just brilliant. Eugene, Raji, thank you. Everything that everyone has been saying is that you're lost. You're lost. Break the word down. Look at what it's saying. That's all. It's not a permanent condition. It doesn't make you an idiot. Can make you an idiot in the moment, but it's not a permanent state. It's a momentary lapse. Break the word lapse down and just simply look. You're doing laps around a pool. Stop. Be here now. A mind that wants to wander around a corner is an unwise mind. Be here now. So everything is that you're simply lost, but you're already home. So the passageway back home can take lifetimes, a lifetime, or every decision is made in a single solitary moment. All this
slow and steady wins the race, because rushy means mindy.
That's right. And if you take a job, then you're in persecution. Jobs are persecution. There's no business at all in this world. And there's no necessity for economies, and economics is bullshit. All of it is bullshit. It's all designed to keep you busy, because your busyness that they've created for you is busy so that your mind is never at rest. And if you are stall-I Terry, and then you see that all is now, and then you're home. So every decision that you've ever made in your life, no matter how long, how many years it took you to get to be able to make that decision, you still made it in the moment. You still made it in the split of a second. That's what split second originally means. It means you tear apart the lie, you tear apart the myth that there is no such thing as a second. There's only here and now. Then you're home. So it's entirely your choice. So to answer Raji's question very simply, in the beginning, the first thing you need to do is to take, and then this is all Josh, and this is all Justin, this is all Santos. Ida, Pengala, red shift, blue shift, left path, right path, feminine, masculine, negative, positive, magnetism, electricity, without, within, below, above.
Sun, moon.
It's both. No, it's both.
And it's all those things, and particularly in our duality that we exist here, it is sun and moon. It's entirely sun and the moon, which do the exact same thing because they're in love with each other and they just want to go home. So everything around you is love. Everything around you is in love, but you don't see it because you only see the veneer, which is, as Professor Tolkien would call, the gray rain curtain of this world, which is the world. And nobody teaches it better than Josh. There is the earth, and it's here, and it's now. It always has, it always will. There's no limitation. There's no running out of anything. There's no sun that's going to blow up 93 million miles away. It is. Everything is. It is here and now. And you want for nothing, but you don't see her. You only see it. And the it that you see is shit.
It's physical.
Yeah.
Physical. IT. It's a physical, it's a conscious or construct of physicality. And the limitations are imitations. All your imitations come from the intelligence. Stop imitating. Be original.
So Charlie, in Eden, the sun and the moon is one, no?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so this is Eden. Here, 4 rivers. And here we have our realm with our moon and our sun revolving around. One cycle is 24 hours. A half cycle is 12. And here we have another one where Mars and Venus are going. Here is Mars, here is Venus. And then we have the other realm here. And here is Saturn, and here is Jupiter. Like the sun and the moon are revolving around our realm, the sun and the moon are revolving around their realm. But look at this. The human body have also these points. Because here we have Saturn, that's the crown. Why does Saturn have a ring? Because you have a ring, hermano, and the pineal is Mars. Here, the throat, that's our moon. Which is the most magnetic point in this model I have here? The center, Eden, and this the heart, kingdom of heaven, kingdom of hearts. Solar plexus, our sun, Apollo. Solar plexus, Venus, of course, is the womb, and Jupiter is the root. 7.7 points.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic. I think that's fantastic, and I would love to have Santos comment on this, just because because there's also a system where we think about and how long the orbit takes. So I think Raji's system matches perfectly when it comes to the body, but at the same time, we have a different order when it comes to like 30 years of Saturn on top, and then 12 years of Jupiter, the eye of Jupiter. So what do you think is that difference, Santos? Because I've never seen one, system that's always correct, if that makes sense.
I'm not sure I follow your question. I want to be 100% sure I understand what you're saying. So can you rephrase that?
Sure. So Raji placed the planets in such a way where it aligns in such a way to the body. But when we describe, for instance, I don't know if it's called the Ptolemaic model or whatever it is. Yep. We always go by moon, at the bottom, menstruation, moonstration. And then Mercury, Venus, and then the sun, and then Mars, Jupiter, Saturn. But it seems like Raji's method is perfect for the body, if that makes sense. Like for anatomically, it seems like there's a lot of sense in that manner. So I was just always curious on these different models of placing planets in different chakras, if that makes sense.
Yeah, okay. So whatever you place one way, you've also got the opposite. It has to be that way. And then there are other orders. There are other orders because, you know, the channels by which you ascend sometimes are different to the channels that others take. So you might go from one chakra straight up to, you know, jump a couple of chakras and go to that chakra in your ascension process to activate it. But when it comes to the planet's orders, the Ptolemaic system says that under the firmament there are seven spheres. That's why we call them atmosphere, mesosphere, ionosphere. They're not ball spheres, but they are spheres of influence. They are spheres of different conditions. So I would say that order that I gave, that would be the Jewish, that would be the Hindu, the Ptolemaic order. And it's quite possible that order actually corresponds with what conventional scientists call the spheres. I've come up in my way of accounting this. There are 7 spheres. The first one is atmosphere. Then there's the stratosphere. Then there's the ozone layer. Then there's the mesosphere. Meso means the middle, and the sun is always in the middle. Then ionosphere, then thermosphere, then exosphere. So it's funny because when I think of all those spheres in that order, and then I put the planets next to them, I get the exact, they're all syncretized. So atmosphere is the moon because she's very atmospheric. You know, she changes moods so quickly, right? Stratosphere, that's mental now, Mercury. Ozone, well, that's dead giveaway, ozone layer, Eve, Venus, Isis, ozone. Mesosphere, well, that's the sun in the middle. Ionosphere, now that's an interesting one because Mars rules iron. Mars is iron. So, and then Jupiter is hot, we all know that, so that's the thermosphere. And then the exo, Saturn is way out there, right? He's the boss, he's got the crown, his exo is out almost of the system. Well, he's the way out, isn't he? They say, the Neoplatonists, that we come into incarnation through his rings and then go down all the way through the moon and then land on the earth, and then we have to go back the same way up Jacob's ladder. But if you were going to sort of syncretize conventional science and try and salvage their rubbish way of explaining the cosmos, I think that's probably feasible. It's plausible. There is a correspondence there. So, but that is rooted in Neoplatonism, the Eastern, the Mayan as well. I think the Aztec, biblical, and Ptolemaic.
So, Santos, I have a question there. So, is there a difference depending on the perspective that you have? For example, let's say that this is the world. If I look from like above there, then that is what I did with the concentric circles, with the stages and the dimensions. But if I do it from this perspective here, not that I'm looking from here, but I'm looking from here, then it is what I showed you with Earth being here, and then you have the stars here.
And also, I think Raji's right in a sense, because why would the solar plexus not be the sun? You know what I mean? Because it's the soul, it's the solar.
Yeah, like here would be the 9 dimension, right? and the Mount Zion will be the 8. And then around Mount Zion will be the 7. And then Garden of Eden, that's the 6th dimension. Eden is the 5D. And then our realm right now, it's going from, it's both 3D and 4D, depending on Atlantis. And then 3D is the Matrix or Babylon. And then 2D is the meta world. But
just real quick, Raji, and that's why we have like blockchain, because that's a 4D technology. That's not even on our world. You know what I mean? That's some other race that's perfected exchange and doesn't need a government system to mitigate it. That technology is coming in now. You see what I'm saying, guys? Not that I support or don't support Bitcoin or whatever, you know?
yeah, the blockchain for me, it's the rebooting Atlantis, the 4-dimensional society again, from a 3D into 4D. Why? I'm going to show you guys just what it is. It's very simple. The old system goes like this. You have a central bank, and they are connected with a bank.
The root of all evil, that central bank, damn it.
If I'm a user here and I want to send currency to Eugene, another user, I'm doing the communication if I'm not there and can give him cash. Then I'm doing this through the internet. However, the cash doesn't go through the internet. The cash goes through the bank. And then here you have Swift and IBAN. So it goes like this every time we want to make a sale, right? If I want to make a sale with you, a contract, then I need to contact my bank. The bank go through Swift and IBAN to their bank and then to you. And then you have the central bank. Everybody's taking a percentage here. That's the problem with the old system. The new system is more like this. Here you have
a permeable cell.
Yeah, man. Here you have a blockchain, a database. And here you have the user. And here you have the user. And here you have the sale. And between it is the internet. Because the old system, look, it's very simple. This is blockchain. It goes like this. It's much more efficient. You don't need banks. We are going to become the banks. And this is 4D system, financial system, 4D.
And doesn't that make sense? Because we are the creditors. So why are they trying to be the creditors for us? Excuse me, please leave, money changers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So it's just a more efficient system, like you are using the phone rather than the home telephone line, you know, in the past. Now you're using mobile phones. So that, but the thing with blockchain is just an upgrade. It's going to go, the transactions is going to go through the internet, not through the telephone lines. So there is no need for banks anymore.
Well, and
what
remember,
those banks do, they create currency, they create sustainability.
you are the phone and you are the network, you are the internet. It's just a process of awakening back to whom you truly are, which is all things with one. And this is why the Tartarian culture, when you look around at all of these that they had, two things stick out. One, everything was built in arches and domes and spires, because you have to conspire. And this is why conspiracy theorists are not theorists. They're to conspire is to be at one with God, which is truth. So conspiracy is truth. You conspire with God. And that's why they all have spires, because everything is, you are an infinite wireless internet system. You are the Ethernet. When you're internet, you're just the receiver. But when you're Ethernet, then you're the provider. And you all have to realize that you have to become the Ethernet. And then you're providing your signal of light, photonic light of God, in all moments. And that, so you are the system. And they've just created these wires because they look real, and then they can clamp down on your, your megabytes, and you're limited to this, and then you have to pay, and then it just becomes electricity versus magnetism. It becomes a transverse wave versus a scalar wave, and then you take Nikola Tesla out of the equation. So at the heart of everything today that everyone's been discussing, of course, once again, is Nikola Tesla, because Nikola Tesla said in the very basis to all things of Tesla is this: everything is energy. And until you just stop and be that gnosis, then you're not going anywhere, because you're fighting what is. All things are, get past that, accept that. Your physicality is an illusion. It's fantastic. It's an incredible process. I have no idea how it all works, and I don't need to. I'm here to enjoy it, experience it, learn from it. I don't have to know how any of this works. I just know that it's the illusion. The reality is the fuel that fires, that sparks the body to do what it does, which is the thought. Take no thought for your life. Take no thought for your life. Take no thought for your life. The single most important teaching within the New Testament of the Bible, and this is what Krishna teaches, what Buddha teaches, what Muhammad teaches as well. Take no thought for your life. Go into those ammoniac caves. Or if you're Muhammad, you go into an ammoniac cave, and if you're Buddha, you go into a temple. But it's this temple, and that's why Jesus went into the Mount of Olives, because that is that crossing fiction, crossing back over. When you exit the physical body and you go into the heavenly mind, you have to cast thy net to the right. Everything has to get rerouted, is rightfully established, as Josh teaches. So when you rise, which is everything, you have to re-enter, and this rightfully establishing your place in reality. And this is all Tesla. So to the right you go, and then the only way back into the brainstem is the hypoglossal opening. And the hypoglossal has literally, just go take a look in, Gray's Anatomy or all the medical encyclopedias and picture books, and it all shows it. Right above the opening of the hypoglossal on the right-hand side of your brainstem is what? An olive above and a pyramid below. Now, you can't argue that. That exists. There is an olive above. So when the Bible, the New Testament talks about Jesus needed to get away from the apostles because they're driving him insane again, he went up and in to the Mount of Olives. Every single passage in the Bible, it always says Jesus went in to the Mount of the Olive, hypoglossal, mind, fourth ventricle, third ventricle, optic thalamus, light of the world, activating the pineal gland. That's what
brother, just 1 second. The Mount Olive, yeah, you could say, if I broke it down from the language that I see, it's a balanced void that you end physical. An olive, again, is a void of L with consciousness. V is the mastered number, the feminine, with the ether. So it's a balanced void that you end your physical void with L, consciousness, with the feminine ether. So the Mount of Olives is the place that you would go to surrender the physical body and to realize that you are one with truth. Then the truth is that even energy has arisen within inside yourself as a concept. Yes. You're the dreamer. Can you accept that you dream? Can you be the dreamer and let go of everything? Hold nothing, bring no baggage.
And think, Josh, think about this. When the minions of the elders of the Church of Jerusalem, which are the Zionist fake Jews, when they came for Jesus Christ, where did they find Jesus Christ? In the garden upon the Mount of Olives. That's where this crucifixion came from, and it has to. It absolutely has to. It has to come from that place of oneness, of etherealness, back into the physical to transcend, to transmutate back to where he once came from, which is in the Mount of Olives. All he did is just complete the circuit and close mechanism, and then he became the magnetic wheel. So everything, once again, really quickly, again, is Tesla. And what Tesla created, what Tesla taught, is that everything is energy. So then how did he follow that up? What's the second thing that Tesla basically taught and said? Is that therefore everything is frequencies. And if everything is a frequency, it means that you are a radio. And what you put in, Ouroboros, is what you get out, Ouroboros. So if you listen to 610 AM talk radio, where everyone has an opinion, and opinions are like assholes, you're an asshole. And you listen to assholes. And that's why television is all about people who talk and talk and talk and know shit about anything. They're not it, they're shit. And they get everything wrong, and you buy it up because that's what's on. You turn the channels. There's 52 different channels because there's 52 weeks in a year, but they should be strongs. They should be strongs, but they're giving you 52 weeks, 52 channels of just complete lies and bullshit. So you just turn the channel and you just listen to these talking heads. And what are they all? It's just the ego and its stupidity and its ignorance. It's moronism. And then Jesus taught you, take no thought for your life. And he taught this sacred teaching upon the Mount Olives. And therein lies the answer to all things. So if everything is energy and therefore frequencies, then the goal to the frequency is to rise to the Mount of the Olive. It is. And where is your mount, which is the pyramid of the olive, is the hypoglossal opening in your brainstem. And that's cross the fiction. That's the throat chakra. Get out of talking all the fucking time and start listening to what is within you. Silence, do good. Benjamin Franklin wrote those letters to the New England Courier, his brother's paper, disguised as a middle-aged woman by the name of Silence Do Good. They're fucking encoding everything to you in plain sight. And who was Benjamin Franklin? A Freemason. Because Freemasons are good. Because they're godly. Because they free the sun. Free the mother sun. But Freemasons are all evil. It's all evil. Well, yeah, it is now. It is now because you capitulated to the fucking devil. That's on you. You turned Freemasonry into the shithole that it is now. You didn't stand up for them when they needed you to stand up. Where did the Freemasons come out of? The Knights Templar. Where did the Knights Templar come out of? The Gnostics. Where did the Gnostics come out of? The Essenes. Where did the Essenes come from? The wandering vagabonds that were once upon the magnetic isle of Numenor. Tolkien called it Numenor. We call it Atlantis. And if you want Atlantis to rise, then your fucking frequency had better start rising because that's all about frequencies. If everything entered, then it's all frequencies. And so everything is rise. You were born to rise. Go ahead, Carly.
What did they say in the Matrix? For those of you who like to eat shit.
3 times in the fourth Matrix. 3 times in the new one. Matrix Resurrections at the beginning. 3 times. They show you a neon. And Santos can tell you all about, and Josh can tell you all about why it would be a neon signs. They were neon signs. And it said a variation of, for those who love to eat shit. Anderson. Why do they call Neo Mr. Anderson? Because you become a shit eater. I'm going to go off my tribe in a moment here if somebody doesn't jump in.
I wanted to mention that the word fix in the crucifix, anything fixed is the matter, consciousness, balance, is X. And it's always about bringing balance to all these situations that are arising within inside ourselves, this masculine and this feminine energy which you speak of. But that was the only thing I wanted to bring in. One of the most important things that I found as a recognition is the dimensions that we speak of externally within inside the conspiracy world. They're actually dimensions of your seeing within inside yourself. And the simplest way to see these is to realize that you have a dimension that exists as an intelligence and a mind. You have a dimension that exists in a moment. You have a dimension that exists as a seer. And these are the simplified versions of things which exist inside yourself. Now, you can choose to exist in any of these at any moment. And what people would say is the guardian angel is with you at any given time is the fact that your higher self is the one which sees, and you have access to this point if you choose to give your attention as the seer via the contemplation and fall into this space as the ultimate truth. Now, in the moment, which is a balanced void in the mind, which shows that the mind is the truth as such. This is the thought or the thought, because everything has arisen from the thought. You can never see the thought. You can never be the thought. You are the thought. And all of these experiences that you have are from a thought that has expanded itself. From a thought. And the original thought was an idea that arisen and an experience manifest from a thinkingness. But this thinkingness is not the thinkingness of the mind.
Josh,
please.
may I please, because Krishnamurti, I just love him so much. And he always says, thought is the I, thought is the me. And at the same time, thought is the past, because what I know is the past. And so here I'll enter something radical that maybe the answer is not to know, in a sense where you're able to see. Because do you need memory to be attentive? Do you need memory to be aware? No, right? You don't need to be aware of your past to see what it is now. Were you going to say something, Josh?
It inhibits you. I mean, access to the memory is not something that we should try to achieve, because when we have a conversation, for example, and you're trying to think of the word that you were trying to just flow with, and you try to focus your attention here, you've forgotten everything. But as soon as you surrender this and continue the flow, it comes back into you within your essence. So everything is an aspect of yourself. Of course, the intelligence, the moment, the presence, the universal mind, the truth, the self, the seer, the witness. And it's only through these recognitions that we truly evolve. I mean, we can get lost in the play of concepts, but if we are searching for the truth, it is about our expansion, and how we find the truth is truth with application. Without application of the truth, there's no experience, and it's only experience that belief turns into wisdom and knowing, and through wisdom and knowing, there is a growth and an expansion, and that expansion then is through this experience. That's why the X is in the word experience, because it's all about balance.
Josh, wouldn't you say truth comes when all concepts disappear? Justin, I see you want to talk something.
Truth is absolute. It exists in a nothingness. So all concepts have to disappear for this recognition. This is why the silence is where the truth lays. So any noise, even the word noise, you see no I-S-E, which is no sine wave of no consciousness, sine wave of the ether, noise. It's not the truth.
Amen. Justin, were you going to say something?
Yeah, well, I was just going to talk about, memory and experiences and linear time and all of these concepts that we can fall into if we're not careful. But when we really look at them, we can see the initial intent behind them. They're useful tools to provide us with more texture to this experience. And so when we view them as such, just like when we view our ego as such, it's never going to take over. I'm never going to allow that to dominate this experience. It is a figment. It's a representational tool to utilize, but it's also a trap as well. It's a challenge to overcome. So it's this beautiful thing that we can find the aspects within it to actually learn and grow from, or we can fall prey to and sink further. But that's the idea, is to rise above that. And I like to think of, this whole experience as we're kind of like a hot air balloon, and we're just the accumulation of the frequencies that we're inputting into our hot air balloon. So we're either rising or falling depending on what we're doing. And that rising is that surrender that Josh talks about. It's completely letting go to all these weights that are holding us down, that are dragging us down, that are keeping us rooted and keeping us. So we're letting those go so that we can continue to rise. But if we choose to consume those foods that lower our frequency, if we choose to have those thoughts, if we choose to get wrapped up in time or memory or the past or this illusion of the future, or all these sorts of things, then we do start. Yeah, we suffer. We suffer. Exactly.
And amen. And could I interject super quick?
I would like to come in after you, Eugene. Go on. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna get this off my chest and I'm gonna shut up for the rest of the show. Okay. So, so basically, suffering is all of this. It's friction. It's a transverse wave. It's thought. It's left and right. It's division. It's duality. It's choice. It's a condition. It's an option. It's division. Because when there's no choice, when there's no condition, we know the North Pole is the center. And all of these things are the me, which is knowledge, which is mechanical. And awareness is not mechanical, people. So wait, super quick, Josh, let me just finish. What is awareness? Is me die at the T of ion, which is the same word as dimension, because it's talking about medio, which is the measure. And measure is thought. So when one gets lost in thought, one cannot move forward. So what is the answer to thought? I think it's humility. I think it's down to earth. You know where earth, you know where you measure the middle way, the mesocosm, as Santos was saying earlier. I think the measure is the middle. It's where the me dies. Because when you die, you can see what actually is. Please explode, guys.
Yeah, I just want to come in, if it's okay. And then, Josh, is it okay? I just want to, like 2 minutes to explain this. You know, when you talked about 3D and timeline, you know, in the past, I was thinking always like, what came first, the hen or the egg? You know, because something must have come first, right? The hen or the egg, you know? And I was like, hey, man, I don't want this question because I can't solve it. But lately I was realizing, hey, man, this is how it is according to me. But in 4 dimension, if you have a 4 dimension thinking, you can solve that problem. You can't solve all problems in the 3D, but in the 4D way of thinking, you can solve it. Meaning it was designed, someone, some power designed the egg, designed the hen, and then said, play, boom, everything came in existence at the same time. Bang! That's the big bang, man.
There was no hen, and there was no egg. Never. There is neither. And you have dreamt both concepts up within inside yourself. And that's the answer. The answer is there's never been a hen or an egg. And you cannot have a hen or an egg without a hen or an egg. So everything has to be dreamt.
Josh, and of course what it says is that there is a creator. And that this is elegant design beyond description, and that this is not randomness. This is, you know, all you have to do is look at a single strand of DNA or the human eyeball, and you absolutely know that there is a purpose and a confluence to all things. And I was going to also just say, you know, for Santos sitting here listening to this, it's incredible because I'm wise enough to know that there's an enormous amount of beauty and truth that is flowing through here. And this all comes through the teachings of Santos. It must be in some form or fashion to Santos quite pleasing for him to be part of this, because all of our rivers that are now open and flowing are all coming from that singular truth that Santos was teaching so long ago. This all originates back to Santos, who had the courage to do these things, and then to be targeted by a very foul system running afoul. So this is pure Santos as well. And again, everything Josh said, that, you know, there is no hen and there is no egg. It is the experience, the dreamer dreaming of this experience, which is the duality. And when you want to come home, you are home. You just have to realize the realize, and that you're already home. And then you awaken in the moment. It's always like that. But until that time, there is a journey, and this journey never changes. There's one truth, there's one story. That's why there's one verse, and a verse is the song. There's one song, which is the one story. And you, as Santos said, are the universe. And your musical composition follows that of the creator. And if you want to fight this, that's totally up to you, but you're out of alignment. This is alignment. 1, 2, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, rock. 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, rock. 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, rock. We're going to rock around the clock tonight. And this is rocking around the clock. And this is rolling the rock, my friends. Rock and roll in the beginning.
Yes.
Cabal destroyed it. They were all singing about God, Jesus Christ, and Mother Mary. Everything was rolling the rock in front of the tomb to release Jesus up and to the right at the right-hand side of God in heaven. Every single song, virtually every single song was about that. Zeppelin, Stairway to Heaven.
Answer all your questions. That's all that one needs to do. The awareness will continually speak to you. You answer all your questions until your questions have been answered. And then when your questions are answered, you will see that there is no questions to be answered.
Exactly. Then you see the true genius of the New Testament of the Bible and Jesus Christ, who walked upon the water. Walking upon the water is healing the blind. Jesus spoke the truth. How do you heal those who are blind? By speaking the truth. Jesus only ever spoke the truth. And so that's how you heal the blind. But if you want to give him magical powers on that, that's great. And I know he had them. Absolutely. But that's how you heal the blind. And how you walk upon the water is to be in this flow. And they've taught you to go counterclockwise. Counter. They are the counter to what is. And so they are the banks. They are the eddies to the flow. Chronos. And that's right. They are Chronos, Saturn, instead of Jesus, Saturn. There is a right crown and there is a wrong crown. And so this is that one story. So at 1 o'clock, and that's why is the Sphinx, just slightly in front of the Great Pyramid of Giza? Because it's telling you the journey you must be able to first go on before you enter into the king's chamber, the queen's chamber, and the middle chamber to illuminate the third ventricle of your mind and light the world, become the light of the world. So 1 o'clock is Leo, that's God. 2 o'clock is what came second, is the mother, Virgo. She's virgin because she's pure. And she's pure. It's not a sexual thing in the way that you would think. It is a sexual thing, but it's a thought thing. She never strayed from, the mother has never strayed from absolute 100% trust in God and taking no thought for her life, only that which is given freely to her eternally by God. So that's why she's virgin, because she's in perfect alignment. And that's why people too. Go ahead.
Charlie, I hate to interrupt, but will you do you want to make me host and I can zoom in on your screen for everyone viewing, just so we can see the board a little bit better? Y'all are all sharing amazing things and I'm happy to manage that, just so we can all see it easier.
Thank you, Justin. He's always good with the tech stuff. He got us.
Yep, Justin's good with all stuff. So and then that takes you upon the level. And what is level? Santos taught me this. L, Eve, L. And Josh pounded this into my head. L, Eve, L. And the L's are your temples. And then in between the temples is Eve. So then really what you're looking at is 121, because that's 1, 2, and 1. And there's only two ways in which you can create 121. You can take God 121 times and get 121, or you can go 11 times 11. The two 11s, which are the two temples, and that everything is upon the level, which is between your two temples. And that's why level is level, because that's 121. And what's 121? So A is 1 and U is 21. 121 is AU, which is gold. So if you want to know, go.
It's when two or more are joined.
Yeah.
11. When two or more are gathered.
When you are in alignment to God's frequency between the temples, Solomon's temple, 1 Kings, is entirely speaking to here, to you. The Bible, Bill Donahue, Santos Bonacci, what do they say? If you want to really know what the Bible is saying, it should say, enter your name here, because you are every single character in the Bible. And that's why they're written allegorically, so that your life can connect to their life. Silver and gold, 17. Q, we're in the QH. How do you spell Aquarius? AQ, we're in Aquarius. God's change. Q is the act of change. All things change through this hand that reaches into the Ouroboros to create this change, which is the Q. And that's why it has to be Q, this movement of Q, because it's Aquarius. And Aquarius is the man bearing a pitcher of water, and the pitcher of water is true.
QAnon, man, QAnon.
Everyone wants to fight this, but it's all elemental. It's all perfectly elemental. So at 3 o'clock is the child, and you are born free as the wind blows. Born free as the wind blows. You're born free. Where? Upon the level. You think the earth is a glow ball, spinning, tilting, twisting, whirling around out of control? No.
Of course it is.
Level means truth.
Energetically.
Free upon the level to rise. Aries just an anagram for arise, man. Hey, man, arise. Aries is
Arise.
level. So that's 3 and 9. And Tesla said everything. If you understand the secrets of 3, 6, and 9, then you understand the secrets of the universe. So then where's the 6? Oh, Capricorn, capricious or godly. Are you Joseph in Egypt? Are you Joseph in Egypt, providing corn even to all those who sold him into bondage freely? Is this heaven or is this Iowa? Iowa is heaven if you choose the corn, not the goat, not the capricious goat. Capri is goat. Capriciousness is lawlessness, and God is the law of the land. And the law of the land is to eat the corn that will flower in Egypt. Even in Egypt, which is your left brain, which is the dime, which is redshift, which is below, which is out there. That's why Jesus had Jacob's sons sell their brother into bondage. And that's why Joseph did not hate on his brothers when he recognized them. He loved them, for in that moment, what did Joseph recognize? I was the only one strong enough to bear this message. I was the only one strong enough to carry out what God wanted in this moment. I have no anger for my brothers. They put me exactly where God needed me to be. You see, that's not a victim. That's you. Power beyond description, because you're all in alignment to God. And as soon as you're born free upon the level, scorpions come out of the ground, and the viper at the side of the road comes up from behind, and they bite you, and they want to drag you down into their world. But if your aim is true, if your bow is keen, there is one story, one way, one purpose. You will find the corn in Egypt and not the capriciousness in Egypt. The capriciousness is the Babylon whore. The corn is the Virgin Mother Mary. And that's why it leads you to AQ, which is the truth, because she is the bearer of water and therefore the truth, which is Aquarius, which leads you to 2 fish, which represents wisdom. Why? Because it's the closest thing to Aries. So if you understand the truth of 3, 6, and 9, Tesla said you'll understand the secrets of the universe. 3, you were born free to make a choice. At 6, which is the 6th chakra, which is the highest journey within yourself, to the 3rd eye, that single eye that is within you, upon the level, so that you can rise and keep rising. Resurrection means you do it again and again and again and again. And that is to be born free. And then you become the blue bull. The blue bull, the Tao are us. We are the Tao. We are Taoism. We are the Tao. We are oneness. And that's why you then have Gemini, because that's you becoming unified in Cancer, which is at the top of the hour. And then that's ruling time at the top of the hour. And 3, 6, and 9 always lead to 12. Completion, God's completion. Cancer, which there's no such thing as cancer. You have acidosis, and they've turned the highest high into the worst disease that exists upon this
That's
earth.
why I see answer. You know, the word cancer, if you just use phonetics and see that C means see and sight, and also the Trinity is the 3rd letter of the alphabet. Do you mind holding up all of your things there? Just 1 second, if I may just say a couple of things. And we also had the cube as well, but just leave your Yeah, your writing's up. You see, for me, as I deciphered English language, just on that journey of the inward looking rather than the intelligence interpreting it for me, is this level. The two L's, or the within this word level themselves, are attached to the AL and the EL. If you see language, you'll see A and E. This is a red A and a blue E. Now, the word level is the solution to becoming level. So you must even these two L's. If you look at the word leave, how do you leave? You eve. If you want to exit, you must it. Balance. If you want to learn, you must earn. So what is this L? Who is this L? This is the EL that we are in search of. This is the frequency and energy and vibration of the truth. Now, yeah, you can see that this L, or the elders of all these things that arise, for me, within the language, Q always meant balance. Always, because the Phoenician Q is a 0 with a 1, which is the masculine and feminine joined within itself as well. So Q is a representation to me as balance, as I see the alphabet, and I've correlated it with all these words. I seen also you writ the cube, and you writ a couple of other words there, dear brother. But the cube also has a solution in it. The cube, the box, be ox. So it's telling you to be the void that's balanced. The cube is to see that you be this, and also the solution is to see you be E. So when you look at these words related to the two L's, being the AL and EL, the redshift and blue shift of this torus mechanics, of this physicality, you will see that language itself instructs you. If you can see it correctly, it will instruct you each and every time when you see it with the simplicity. And I've broken this down many times, and I do have videos, not too many, because I keep them simple, and I always apply truth to my experience here, and continue to expand and continue to enjoy life and grow this wonderful community and website that we have. It's an incredible thing. But this V here, the V is a number 22, which is the master number. Now, if you see the 11, right? The 11 is about L even, and it's about balancing these two L's. After the number 11, we actually get to the number 12. We hear 12 is to twine. And L is to twine these L's. And this is the circle. So these two twin pillars that represent 11, or L even, actually become joined. And this is the V. Now, this is why the V is the feminine and the mastered number, because you have built your temples and you have then collapsed them, and they have become open. And now this is the master. This is the master Templar. This is the one who has had the recognition, who has combined the energies within inside themselves by allowing the nature of their seeing to become free from this artificial reality construct. The artificial man, the mechanical man, the man that needs to learn to die to liberate himself. Die being D and I, 4, which is form, and I being 9, which is consciousness. So form and consciousness unifying itself. This is the sacred sex. This is the masculine and feminine energies. It's not between two beings, it's between yourself. And we can get lost in these concepts that have arisen within inside the conspiracy world for a very grand purpose, to trap us on our journey for seeking the truth, to make us continue to search, to find suffering, to then come to ourselves as we search to realize the truth is here. So we respect and love and come to acceptance and all the virtues within inside this world. This is the liberation. These are the tools. I mean, the word tool is to L. The word seek is to CK. Everything is there for us to see, and we need to just relax. The word relax tells you it has the X in it. You got to rightfully establish the L. And alpha balance, please.
I would like to share something about the L's, if that's okay with you guys. So
yes, Raji, and later show the Gandalf clip, please.
Yes. So you have something called Gabriel, Mikael, Raphael, Israel, And then you have Ishmael, because what happened with Ishmael was that he was the one built the cube, man. And it's all about the cube. And this cube is Pandora's box, because we know, and Brother Santos is here, no? Greek mythology, that Atlan, who was the king of Atlantis, he had the mother boxes. There were 3 mother boxes that he had in charge with. And one mother box is in Mecca. That is the artificial Sophia. It's the AI. And in the end of times, because we talk about the revelation here, in the end of times, there's going to come one, a prophet in Islam's teaching, and he's going to have a speech on Mecca, because that cube is artificial central point. He's going to say, guys, this is not it. This cube was built for people to pray towards this cube, to come here, to do the pilgrimage to this point. Because on top of that cube, there was Ishmael standing and was like, guys, we made it. We have revealed the information. We know the direction to Eden, and it's the North Pole. So let's go there now. Let's create the voyage to Eden. We don't need a cube anymore, because we have this internet. We can say to everybody, guys, let's gather.
You are the cube. You are the cube. Your consciousness is the cube within inside yourself. Anyone with L on the end of their name has reached the blue shift. They've had the recognition of the self. This is why it's so important to surrender these concepts, you see, because those very things that are being brought up here within religion are so simply answered. You see, the construct of the cube exists as this Rubik's cube within inside the mind. The Rubik's cube is the incandescent colors of scattered light. So this is the journey of self, and this is all religion has ever been about.
Wait 1 second. Do I count?
Say one thing.
Got it. Go ahead.
Josh, this is how I see it. Yeah, I see it. Why we are a little bit different in our views. In your perspective, you need to leave a lot of concepts, but I don't, because this is how I see it. Yeah, I see myself, and I know it's a concept. I see myself as what we call 4D, and that is a king or a queen. But I see you. I see. Brother Santos, and I see Charlie with sorry, I forgot your Colleen, yes, Colleen, as what we call 5D, and that is a genie or a fairy.
Hey, but I'm Genie.
Yes, Eugene, of course, he's 5D. And you know, the 4D's role here is to be a space between the 3 and 5. Because the 3D is the people.
These being dimensions, yeah?
Yeah, D being in dimension or density. What I'm saying is this, brother Josh, that your information is what I would call 5-dimension information. People who are 3D will never get what you are saying.
But if I speak with you like this is how we get to the recognition. And this is why I think this is so important on this actual interview here, because the different dimensions inside yourself are actually different recognitions and revelations. To revelation is to reveal. And the word reveal is also even. Again, it's all about these balances. So to actually recognize what I'm saying to you will change you from 4D to 5D. And the search for information will elude you for that. So what I can give you in this very moment that we're interacting is the truth that can bring you in your contemplation after this conversation to the next level, to balance within inside yourself. So there's no searching, because it's a recognition here. So every question, everything that you were speaking of, I wished to give you the answers as you were unfolding them. But again, it's very hard on a type of call like this for you. But yeah, everything that you are speaking of, even all religions, are just very simple by their nature. So, you know, the cube is the box, it's the cross, it's you unfold this, you allow yourself to let go of it. As I said, the L is a state of being. The L is a being. It's somebody that has surrendered intellect and information.
Yes, but do you, Josh, one question. Do you get what I'm saying with your information? I can get what you are saying. But if we will talk with what we call a 3D person, they will not be able to understand, because it's all about frequency. The frequency is too loud. Yeah, the difference.
There has to be an element of a devotion to this truth to be able to go on a path, to be able to simulate certain, we could call it concepts within inside the subject. You
Yes.
are the subject, and that it's the realization of this that will give you your freedom. Are we in search for freedom or information? And that's the core of this conversation, because there's information here, which is, this is the pinnacle of information intelligence here within this torus mechanics. But this torus mechanics and information is actually a projection from the self. So as you sit with yourself in silence and meditate, Dai being pure balance, central balance, everything is middle. It's about this balance. You can then see that every question that arises actually arises within inside your own awareness. And the questions that are arising are seen by something very different. Even the awareness, or the one that is aware of the questions arise, is still seen by something, is witnessed. If you can be that witness, you are the ultimate truth yourself. You have found that God sits in your house, and you are that. You are the isness. Time, concepts, everything exists within inside of you. And that recognition, the egg to chicken, no egg, no chicken. You dreamt it. You are the dreamer. Now I can learn. I'm free from samsara. I can play with my dreams, my consciousness, my reality. I can create worlds here. The reason why you have these gurus that leave and go to the caves is because the dream world is much more real than this world. Because at least you can create within inside yourself.
Okay.
And the body is, please.
Yes. Go ahead.
I was just going to say the body itself was a concept. It arose within inside yourself. So your truth is that you are that creator. You are the source of all. You have never not been this source. It was the intelligence that led you to believe that you were. And actioning your reality from intelligence is a relapse of time existing in a separational world, which is duality. And that's the purpose of the experience that we're having here, to transcend. To end samsara, all we have to do is have this recognition.
Yes,
Yeah.
I just want to share the thing here, why I think we all like speaking different languages. Because for me, I just want to share with you my system, Brother Josh.
Yes,
Yeah,
lovely. Please. I love
for
to
me,
hear.
the past is the meta world. My present right now is the present here, 3D. But the future is Atlantis. That's my dream state. Because here is the inorganic world. And here is the space in between. And here is the true organic world, your dream state. Because soon, what you're saying is soon in meditation, you're going to go consciously into your dreams, and you're going to realize that you're going to remember all your dreams, and your dreams are going to be so real. So you're going to be like, hold on a minute. This is the illusion, the 3D. The other dream state is the real state.
Yeah.
Like this, that's the organic matrix, or what you can call the organic meta world that they are creating right now.
That's available here. Can you bring that board
Yes.
back up one more time, just for me, please? Can you bring your board? Just
Yeah.
Raji, he wants you to show the board that.
Yes,
Thank you.
this one.
So the meta past, you could say the meta is an opportunity to elude people from the reality again. It's as consciousness has expanded itself, the actual artificial world, Babylon, has expanded for more opportunity to fall trap to, but also more opportunity to become woke. Now, past is a concept. It has gone and it is not now. Okay. So now will always be now, and everything experienced is only truly experienced here. One to experience nowness has to transcend the very intelligence and exist here without any of this noise to be with life itself. Now the 5D, I missed what was on the 5D? You had
Yeah, the 5D is all the dimension at the same time. That's Eden.
4D. Sorry, you had 4D first. Let me get to
4D Atlantis, but the 5D is when you go in all these dimensions at the same time, because that's the first completion, the 5, right?
which would be the self. Yeah, this would be
Yes.
the recognition that you create reality itself. The
Because
4D there.
yes.
Go on. The 4D is a future, which is also a concept because it doesn't exist now. So you'll never get to the future because the future is only a moment in now.
Yes,
So
they are three, but they are all one. Yes, I agree. They're all one. Like the past is your DNA, your present in the experience, and the future is when you download information. They're all one. You're right, but you can to organize it, you can put it into categories. It's all about perception. But I would say your program, Brother Josh, what you have and what you are saying is Eden, is 5D language, is Eden, because you are preparing yourself for Eden. In Eden, everybody is like that. But in this realm, people are not ready for Eden, so they need a transition period.
Available. To become available is to avail able. Able is here, now. Now, every night you surrender to Eden itself and dream, and then you rise, forgetting your dream, but yet memories exist of this. Now, if you can learn to give the attention to the moment and recognize through the contemplation within yourself, how could I be the dreamer? Give the chicken and the egg scenario to yourself time and time again and say, well, that can never be answered. These things here, then the logical explanation to the intelligence will allow you and assist you into the seeing. So when you see that the cosmic question that can never be answered is so simply answered by the recognition that you are dreaming, even this reality itself, now you become free. So all of these concepts, we see them as something on the journey that has built us and purposefully led us in, directions of learning and experiencing what it's like in separation and pain and suffering, to continue to search, to feel like we need something. Because when you feel like you need something, your body vibrates as if you are without it. And if you feel as if you're...
that's desire.
Yeah, if you feel as if you're without it, of course you experience suffering because you are it. You have never been separate from this. So the very searching creates these vibrations, emotions, and blocked energy centers. And we are in search of the solution to free ourselves. So yes, all of these concepts are beautiful and they are a journey. But as my part here, I just wish to share that there's a pointing that's so simple that it just takes us to this space. And it's to realize, yes, these things are here, but really the work is inside. All of the cosmos, all of the astrology, everything. We can spend our whole lifetime searching law. I mean, I know people who spent 60 years on law, trying to create countries, trying to do all these things and still suffering. But yet the ultimate is to be happy and enjoy and love and to plant the beautiful gift of the seeds and to experience what is here, but learning and recognizing, contemplating, experiencing wisdom, growth. Then this self, the witness, the all-seeing eye, is the ultimate truth. There is no other truth. So if one is in search of the ultimate truth, then we can just let go of all of this here and now.
Yeah, and Josh, that's why the ninth letter of the alphabet is the single I, and a small-cased I is a pillar which supports the single I, which would then be your spine that supports the third ventricle of your brain, which is the optic thalamus, which is known as the light of the world, which to become the light of the world, you just have to activate the portal to God, which is the pineal. And that's where Jacob met God face to face in a place called Pineal. And this is that intertwining 12 that comes out of the all K line 11. K is the 11th letter of the alphabet for a reason. And that's why 9/11 is the most important number and the most important date. And that's why the cabal do things on 9/11, because they're attempting to take light and turn it to dark. And all we ever have to do is wake up, awaken in the moment, Abel versus Cain. And that's why all of this is Cain versus Abel. And that's why all of this is left brain versus right brain.
But there needs to be a world, hey, in this construct.
Yes.
There needs to be the world. And we accept the world, and then we're free from the world.
Exactly. So remember, the dichotomy of the New Testament of the Bible is that the only one who was transdimensional was Jesus Christ, because he was with the world and he was showing the world the way, because he's the light, because he's the truth. Therefore, he's the way. But every single time that he was done with the illusion of the gray rain curtain of the world, as Josh teaches, then he went back to the earth. And that's why he went in to the Mount of Olives. And this is transdimensionalism. This is where Jesus transcended the apostles by going within and recharging his batteries, not being a victim in the world where they turn you into a Duracell battery for all of your intellectual property and your sweat equity. Everything.
It's an AL turn 8. It's an alternate reality. Alternate reality. This is a seeing.
And who created AC? Who created the AC generator that was able to get away from the original creation of electricity, which was direct current? Nikola Tesla. Nikola Tesla received approximately $432,000, which is a lot of money in those days, for his invention of the AC generator. He then turned that into the world's first Tesla tower. And then at that point, it was all a war declared on Nikola Tesla, because that was the end game of their game, because the game is rigged, the table is tilted, and Tesla just leveled the table. Now, really, really quickly here, how did he do this? And this just goes to heart of everything that Josh just was saying and taught. So everything that Josh is teaching, telling is this. If you can zoom in on me for a sec here, Justin, I'll just show this. So once again, everyone, when you realize that everything is becoming level means truth. So it's all about the truth. So you see, this transcends the physical. So we do have the physical here, right, Josh? Because there's the cross. So you are the 3, the 6, the 9, and the 12. You are and that's the fourfold nature of man. That is the cross.
That's where the macro and micro come intertwined, because level is about freeing, but level is about torus. So torus is a concept which is not freeing, but understanding the torus takes you to the space of energy, and seeing energy, this is where it comes to the truth in physicality.
So that this is physicality, and the ring around this, which is astrology, is metaphysicality. And so this is the two worlds becoming one. This is the father with the mother. And this is the unification. This is unity consciousness. This is the basis of what Santos teaches. This is how you bring everything together, masculine, feminine. And everything we're talking about is, again, electricity versus magnetism. And so look at the whole point of this, and that's why I started. The very first thing I created is that dot, because that's all there is. That dot at the center of all things is magnetism. And at the center of every single magnetic field is a centripetal. You can't make this shit up. Centripetal, because you're the lotus flower. You don't realize that yet, but you are. You're the lotus flower, and you're perfection in the moment. And so there's a centripetal force that draws you subtly in. And what is that at the very white, a single dot of white light, which is photon, which is God. God is photon. God is photonic light. Creation is light. And his teachers are atoms, points of light, and that's this light. That is this life in all moments. Now look, when you are upon the level and you put the mother first upon the level, then look at where you put the V on the level. He's right in the center. And therefore, when you align with her, because as Josh teaches, to get him, you have to first get her. And together is 3 words: to get her.
And also to G ether. To G ether as well. Thank you.
Exactly. So when you align to the mother and you put the mother first, she's at the center of level, which is the middle earth, which is the North Pole, which is the journey to the center of the earth. And that's Eve. And then look, she's the pointer of the way. And
And what if
Jesus,
someone says, center yourself? What would you do? Take away your thought. Are you there?
so you see, this is all biblical and it's all Jesus Christ. And this is the journey of Jesus to 12. And that's why there has to be a Lord and Lady Christ. That's why Mary Magdalene's not a whore. Santos teaches that Mary Magdalene is the miracle inside of you, the amygdala, which allows you to control the insanity of your emotions through the amygdala. And the only way is Eamon's horn, which is Jesus. So that's Jesus' journey to completion 12. And he's the way, but she's the pointer of the way to what?
The one.
The dot. And this is, I put up earlier, you can look at this as sun, solitary dot, or you can look at this as moon, and it is a monadic circle, and that is God. And so the entire mechanism, Josh, Justin, they talked about this today. It's all a mechanism. It's all this dualistic mechanism is a journey, and it all is done in the Bible. It's all played out inside of your head, and it all leads to the one.
Charlie, I don't want to interrupt you.
Just really quickly, and that is the beginning, and this is the end. And remember, this is magnetism, not electricity. Electricity is your left brain. It is a transverse temporal temporary wave. You will wash to the shore and die in the sand and the foam until the breath of God breathes upon you again, and then you begin to oscillate back into life again. So then wash upon the shore again in 60 years, and then suffer in suffering, and then you wash back in the sand and the foam until the breath of God breathes upon you again. And this goes on and on and on and on in a wave. In a wave. Samsara.
This is getting way too sexy, guys.
And guys,
so simple and it's so pure and it's so beautiful, and it is the story. So, and just to complete this for everyone listening, remember, this is the beginning and the end. And that's why Jesus Christ says that you can only get to the Father through me, and I am the beginning and the end, because Jesus is the beginning that leads you to the end. And Jesus taught you to exalt the mother upon all things, because she points his way to the very center of all things, and that is the beginning, the middle, and the end, which is God here and now in the moment. And you have to be able to receive this wisdom, not a Canaanite. And that's where we're at. That's exactly where we're at. This is Cain versus Abel. The Canaanites are the Venetians, who were the Phoenicians, who were Cain, who was kicked out of Eden for his pure evil. And that's the story. And it's encoded everywhere, in you and in the Bible. So back over to everyone else.
thank you. Thank you so much, Brother Charlie, for that. And yes, Cain ate Abel, cannibal. I would like to, if we can, just to give the energy a little bit to Santos, Eugene, and Justin, because I feel it would be nice also to you guys, three guys, come in and share a little bit, so we have a more nice balance.
Yeah, sure. I'm happy to hop in. So just going back to the concept that you're presenting, Brother Raji, and then Josh, your discussion around it. So I think it's just like our discussion around time and what that really is. It is a concept that we can use as a tool to further grow into this understanding and recognize and grow towards that atonement, towards that one mind. So these concepts can be helpful to break things down and to discuss and to share ideas and to sort of make sense of it all. But just like any of these concepts, they're also a trap. They will only take you so far. So if we stay locked in this, if we add solidity to these concepts of division, then it just increases that suffering, so that we have to let go of that and to further learn past that. So even with the zodiac, it's still a concept. We're breaking down how the system works in this journey of man. but you can still get stuck even in that concept. So people who study astrology, it's a beautiful, beautiful study to learn and to learn your starting point. What were the energies affecting you at the moment of your birth or your borning? But it can also be a trap, because if you learn too much of that and you say, oh, I'm a Pisces, so I have to, everything has to be, I'm a Pisces. If I don't react a certain way, this is why I feel this way. And you can get trapped into that 1 out of 12 piece, that concept, and lose out on the holistic approach that we're all moving towards that one-man. So I don't think there's anything wrong with, Raji, you presenting those concepts in a way, as long as that disclaimer is listed, that this is just a tool to utilize to get to that one mind. It doesn't need to be something to stay stuck on. So just wanted to clarify that, because I think all of our gifts that we can share, our concepts that we can put forward and discuss, they're helpful because we all reach different people, right? We're all presenting and we're talking about the same thing, but our voice and the way that we break it down is helpful for a different individual to learn from. So we all bring forward our gifts. So Josh needs to be that trailblazer that's at the very, very tippy top, giving us that shining example of where we're going to. But we also need someone like you, Raji, to help break it down in a way that might be easier to understand for someone who's not quite ready for that whole concept. So we all bring this.
May I say, without Raji being in this presence with those very questions, there wouldn't be hundreds or thousands of other people not having their aha moment with the chicken or the egg. And then that recognition that everything is perfect, and surrendering to the moment and enjoying the experience of what is. And if we do feel emotion during that time, then that's on us. And then we must become free from that and realize that we have fallen to our intelligence and our mind. And then we create concepts which create emotions, and now we're blocked in our energy. So it's just through these conversations. And, I feel like, when one goes and seeks the ultimate space within inside themselves, they will go to a satsang, for example, where somebody can actually help them tear open themselves, their questions to their ego, and direct them, and continually direct them to the source that's within inside themselves. And I feel like we are ready for this. There are many beings now that, where I would say Raji is at a pinnacle of intelligence, which is a grand thing, which is something that will elude you from this ultimate reality within inside yourself, but you've deconstructed the experience of the world, the earth, and the mechanics of the energy. So all it's about now is having an internal recognition, and then the whole energy shifts. The blue shift comes in, the divine feminine comes in, the kundalini energy is free. And then you understand the dimensions. The world of dimensions exists inside of you. You have alternate dimensional choice at any given moment then. So it's up to you where you exist. You can play a character. You can be in the moment, or you can contemplate. See, contemplate is see on template. Rather than have a thinkingness, which is automatic, which is intelligence, which is just the repetition. You hear a song and it just plays in your head. But can you direct your attention away from this song? Or does it continually play? Does the ego still knock and cause suffering? If not, then you're free.
Josh, could I say something here? Just because, and I think Justin's disclaimer goes out to words, because ultimately the word is a thought. And the thing is, so God to thought, it's only one way. The thought is not God. The thought doesn't get to God, but God expresses through thought, through words. So there has to be something behind the word. We have to be saying something that's beyond what we are putting out there. That's what I'm also saying. And because analysis,
seeing eye.
Exactly. Yep. And because analysis is paralysis. And when analysis means to break up, why would you break something up that's forever, that's eternal? So it's that kind of a thing. That's why the Virgos need to stop analyzing sometimes. And so the word is not the thing. Also, I want Charlie to go, but also if Santos has anything to say, just because Santos seems like he hasn't said anything in a bit.
Yeah, Santos can come in. Yeah, that would be lovely.
Yes, beautiful. Thanks, guys. My thought for the day, for the week, for the past, 5 weeks since I've been healing, predominantly has been how to purify the soul. So you can sharpen the soul by being with other people, but you can only purify the soul by being solitary. As Josh said at the start, solitary, solitude, the soul. So part of all of this journey is the purification of the soul, because the soul gets sullied when it drops down from a transcendental being, unlimited, unconditioned, unqualified, and then all of a sudden it finds itself in the Garden of Eden, a la Adam and Eve, and they've eaten of the apple, the sine wave, and now they're sinners and they need clothes, which is their body. And so now they've got this guilt and shame and what have you. And what happens is they listen to their heart, because the heart is a subset of the soul in Neoplatonic thinking. So, and the heart is more to do with the emotional body, whereas the soul is more to do with the spirit soul. So what I'm seeing here is everyone is purifying their soul. The soul is being purified. Pure comes from the root pir, which is pyro, which is fire. And again, it's that plasma, the fire that leads us back to the ether. The plasma world is the material world. The ether world is the transcendental world. So, but the highest form of matter in this material world is plasma, it's fire. So as we go to the plasma, which is an anagram for pulse, which is the heartbeat, we go into the heart, then we find the soul was just there waiting in the heart. We lose the emotions, we lose the ego. We now witness that we are being, you know, and that's it. That's the purification of the soul. And, you know, how to do that is a struggle, because a lot of people, they really want to hang out with other people, you know, and, oh, let's go and see someone, or they want to do things, you know, rather than letting occasions of being with other people, let them happen rather than making them happen. Sometimes making things happen is it's not the wise way, you know. Sometimes in doing one good thing, you do 3 bad things, and you hurt yourself and someone else and all these other tragedies because you just wanted to do a good thing. So being is the secret that I've found, guys. I've really, for the first time in my life, I'm just so comfortable with just being at home by myself, with no thoughts, no desires, no ambitions, but just knowing all things and being everything, just being everything, you know, embracing it all. It's just beautiful.
Thank you, Elder. Thank you.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you so
beautiful.
much, Santos, for that. Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
I think Charlie want to go, no?
Huh?
I think Charlie want to go. He has something, no? No?
Okay, then I'll go.
Eugene!
Well,
Eugene!
because Josh was talking about the Q, right? And I just think Q is so interesting. And of course, you have to not search. Of course, you have to have no effort, because is there effort in stillness? You know, is there effort in the flow of water? I don't think so. I think it just flows in the path of least resistance. Again, because it's aware. So it is the alpha and the omega. The view, the seeing is the action. That is being aware. That's it. That's the end. And that is the reveal. So it's funny how Josh said we're in this in-Tor view. Yeah, because we're all viewing the Tor. I mean, meta is just another anagram for Adam. Hello? Okay, anyway. So of course we're talking about alternate realities, because it's the owl turning 8. Of course. Yeah. Like I'm not making this up, okay? It's just how it is. And the cube, of course, is the cross spread out, as Josh pointed out, but really it's the 8, because Q is 17, reduces to 8, and 8 is really a H, which is cube and the spirit. So I think we also need to mention the mother when we bring in the father. When we say everything is a cube, at the same time, everything, you know, we're on this material plane, aren't we, guys? So,
which is the other, which is the middle other, which is the only thing that brings balance.
Amen. And that's exactly. So balance, because balance is putting everything in its rightful place. And that is the definition of art. So when you accept the world, that is art, because it's just like thought. It's just like a robot. Its rightful place. When it has its corner of 10%, that's when we are in heaven. That's when we are in Eden. So art is not saying, let's get rid of thought altogether. No, let's empty it so that I can see what is, but not be lost in what I've made a conclusion of. So there, I just wanted to add that to elaborate.
Continue to exist here and allow life to unfold itself and witness the unfolding of life itself, to recognize that I am life itself. I have always been life itself and can never not be life. It's simplicity, effortlessness. Make no effort. Just be.
There are always two choices within the duality, and those choices can go in infinite directions, which is God's gift of free will. When you get to this inner wisdom that Santos is talking about, no longer the necessity to go anywhere or to hang out with this person or to lean on that person or go eat this or go do that or whatever, but just to be at home and comfortable within your own skin at home, is this recognition that at a certain point we go, thank you for the gift of free will, God, but I don't need it. There is a right way and a wrong way to everything. And I'm sick and tired of being on the wrong path and doing the wrong things and going the wrong way. You're going the wrong way. And I want to be on the right way, God's way, which means that there's no choice. And so the ultimate wisdom of he who returns to New Jerusalem on a camel through the eastern gate, which is that of the eye of a needle, which is why it's easier to get a camel through the eye of a needle than a rich man into heaven, is that what ultimately you're doing upon your knees and in penitence to God is saying, thank you, but I no longer need this gift of free will. It is your will, Father, which is perfect alignment. And that is magnetism, Mother Mary. In Sanskrit, what does mag mean? In Sanskrit, mag means motion. And what Josh has been teaching everyone today is that that's not work. That's not effort. It is. Magnetism is. Electricity is effort. Magnetism is effortless. Magnetism is eternal. It's a scalar wave. Scalar waves are known as Tesla waves because Tesla spent his life studying magnetism. And he didn't study, he got bored with electricity because electricity, as Paul Simon said, besides saying she wore diamonds on the sole of her feet.
Diamonds in the sky.
Paul Simon said, electricity is a one-trick pony. And that's all that pony can do is one trick. And that's what electricity is. And it's a transverse wave, which is temporary. And you're going to live and you're going to suffer and you're going to die. Or, as Justin is been teaching us and showing us and doing the work to become, same as Eugene, and that is you cast thy net to the right, you hand back the gift of free will to God, and you say, no, I know who I am, and therefore I know what I have to do in every moment. And then there's no fear, because in every moment, if I see, because that's the essence of me, if I see somebody being harmed, I will put myself in harm's way. Because that is me. I never need to fear being me, but they've made you to be fearful of you, because that's what any of us would do. And that's why that's why we've lost this root for the underdog. We always root for the underdog because we want them to rise.
Mm-hmm.
And so everything you do is trying to turn you away from yourself. And then, as Santos taught so brilliantly through 2020 to those who are listening, is that hope asks is just this final kick in the head to say, you're not you. We will never allow you to be you. You are what we say you are. And that's what these effing masks and this bullshit COVID is this ultimate death of you. And just so you know, for the punchline, had there not been some kind of intervention, the masks never would have come off. They never, trust me, there was never, ever, ever going to be any ending of the mask. Delta variant. It's just would have continued forever until there is no you. There's only the mask.
And what did they say in the Matrix? The psychologist, was it? There were going to be those. They want my world. They want those masks. They want to feel safe, right?
You go paint the sky pretty colors,
Rainbows.
but they want my world. And then
It can only exist in the corpse.
yeah. And then what did Neo and Trinity say? We'll see. We'll see.
And guys, real quick, they said they like the comfort of certainty. So if certainty is a belief, how do we become uncertain?
Surrender.
How do you become certain? I would like to share with you guys more concepts. Josh, more concepts.
They're still beautiful as anything else, brother. It's still beautiful.
So this is how I see it, my perspective, my dimension, that we are all playing different games. There is one thing that we call 9-dimension game. That's bring you to the stars. That me and Brother Santos had a talk last time, and we were like, but what's beyond the stars? The diamond in the sky. That's the 12-dimension game. And I want to share how that works. Because I believe there is only one story, and that everybody who is a movie producer and get a download about a story they want to make a movie on is all the same story. And this, I guess this is the platform. So again, you have the stars in the 9-dimension. That's this, the 9-dimension game, because it's 3, 6, 9. Charlotte said that, right? 3, 6, 9. So then you have the space in between. You have 1 and 2, 4 and 5, and then 7 and 8, yeah? But the 12-dimension game is, as we did the other one, this, that's 12, exactly as Charlie had with his cross, but it was different. Yeah, exactly where he had that, and then you have the space in between. But look, guys, this is also the stars, and then you have the void here, the 10-dimension. And then you have this, the resurrection. We talk about Jesus a lot. This is the resurrection, guys, coming back. That's the 11-dimension. And then you have the 12-dimension here. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. 12-dimension. Because here comes the Word. That's only sound here. Whoa. Here also sound. Comes to a focal point, creating the void, the black hole. Through the black hole, you create the stars, because we know how stars are being created. Is sound wave passing through a bubble of water. Okay? So if you look at this diamond that I make, you know, some people have played maybe Sims. You know, there is a video game. And there was here was the diamond always above their head. And this is our antenna that is connected with other antennas. You know, and then we are all connected to the one antenna here above, the big one that I wrote, the big one. That's the connection with this crystal. That's why they say diamond in the sky. I want to share Gandalf with you in the Lord of the Rings, when he's fighting the Balrog in the top of a mountain. That is Mount Zion. He is fighting the dragon, which is the 8th-dimension, at the 8th-dimension, and then he ascend and become the white. So I'm going to show you that.
And he says through fire and water, so AKA through electricity, through duality, as he's putting up his white magnetic sword of aether.
Yeah, so let's look at this.
Through fire.
Could be.
Water. From the lowest dungeon to the highest peak, I fought him.
Keep going.
until at last I threw down my enemy and smote his ruin upon the mountainside.
There's Mount Zion, right?
Yes, that's Mount Zion.
I strayed out of thought and time. The stars wheeled overhead. Every day was as long as a life age of the earth.
And then resurrection.
But it was not the end. I felt life in me again.
Bam.
I've been sent back until my task is done.
Okay, so look at this, guys. I just want to share this also. So we talked about the 12th dimension, right? What do they talk, the scientists, when they say there are multi-universes and different universes and all that? So for me, if we have this model that we have, how can we explain the different worlds? Well, if this is the 12th dimension, right? No, it's the opposite. Sorry. This.
It's the Templar cross.
Yeah, exactly. Look, then it's here. And then it's here. And then it's here. And then, you know, because why only here? As Charlie said, it's all the directions. So then it's here, here. If our world is like this, then it must be other parallel, like here, here, here.
If you've done DMT or psilocybin, you know what we're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. And here is the stars, but here is the stars here, you know, in this reality. So that is why when you play the 12th dimension game, what's going to happen when you come to the center, as Charlie said, it's all about the Eve, you know, the center here, because then you can choose. I don't want to play this world game anymore in this. I want to go here where there is another reality, another game, complete another game, maybe another 12th dimension game.
And guys, this is where I think falling in love comes from, because you fall into a dimension, into materiality. You fall in love with the mother because you start with the father, the soul.
We lost you for just a second, Eugene. If you can say the last like 5 seconds of what you just said.
Yes. So I think this is where the term or the phrase falling in love comes from, because if you're at that center point, that point of origin, which is to rise, or it's the beginning and the end, then of course you're falling to the mother, because the mother is the matter, is the material, if that makes sense. So then it's fine to gross.
Yeah, but you remember, you fall in love to rise in love. And the ultimate purpose to love is to rise, because everything is about rising. If you haven't figured that one out yet, you're in trouble. So
you have to fall to let go. Because if you don't fall, it's the surrender. So you have to surrender to be love, because you are love and you have always been love. It's only ideas that block you from your true source, which is love.
yeah,
Rising to love, ascension.
And because love gets you through hell, doesn't it?
But we already told Eugene, we come from the stars, man. We are stars. As the Lion King say, Mufasa say to his son, my father told me that the great kings is in the stars. When people say, oh, the Jesus story, it's all about astrology and the three kings, they didn't happen. What if they happened at the same time? What if the stars happen and then it also is connected with the earth? You know, the stars are like the players. Like I'm playing a video game, the stars are playing us, you know?
Yeah.
We are the puppet on the string, and what connects us is the ether, man.
You see, the star word itself, I mean, the words will always give you this, what we seek is the sine wave of the physical, of the alpha that is reciprocating. So they are the sine wave, and they are giving the light. And you know, when they say that everyone is this star, the perceived reality of avatars, you could say, and everyone is a star themselves, would be due to the nature of the sine wave from each vibration. When you were speaking about crystal, I just want to give synchronizations for you for your journey. Is, you know, the word crystal is like crystal, And this is a positionality or a space within inside yourself as the highest, you know. And diamond, you were speaking of diamonds. Now, dia is through, as in diagnosis is through gnosis, but mon is one and d is form. So it's like through one's form, just for your awareness here, okay? And then dragon, you see D, which is form, R, which is a reciprocation, or you can see D, Ra, which is the form of the sun, which is also the incandescent colors of light, all scattered here for this fragmentation. Fragment being FRA, which is the matter of the sun in the mind, and G, which is the seven sign ways on. So dragon is basically the physicality. It's physicality. It is the material that's presented to us here.
Yes,
It's all
so that means
so we
that-
must fight physicality to find the truth.
Exactly, Josh. And the answer, that's why the answer will never be slaying the dragon. That's what you do in the beginning. And you're a warrior and you learn to, but then you just realize you're playing the same game. Now it's a better game because you're winning, but you're only winning for a day. And you need to win for all time. So then this takes us back again. I highly recommend to those that haven't watched it, make sure you watch Robert Redford's The Legend of Bagger Vance, because that is God and that is pure truth that's being shared in there. And so when he is aligning Juna 74, Jesus 74, when he's aligning Juna to the field, he said, you can't think of that flag over there as a dragon that you have to constantly slay. He said, it is part of the field and you have to become one with it. And then that's what Justin was saying earlier. Then you realize it's the 10% and it has a role. It has a value. It's 1 of 10, but you're the 9. Put it in its proper place. It is one part of the whole and nothing more. If you give it an inch, you give the dragon an inch, it'll take a mile, and that mile is you. And so this is this awareness that you must be in control. And by the way, again, this goes right back to what Santos, this is the heart and soul of what Santos teaches, which is his syncretism. And syncretism is all about diamond, because it's all about, so let's break this down very simply. And again, this is what we will find is as the truth comes available to us, you will see what exists at the center of this earth. And the center of this earth is a diamond. It has to be. It absolutely has to be. And
yes.
What is the reason? So because it's Di, which is the basis of Santos teachings, is Di, which is the perfect balance of God. God is all one. He is in perfect harmony, balance, alignment with all things and every single moment. That is God. That is the basis to Santos's teaching of syncretism. And then A is God and Mond is mountain. And the mount of God in perfect balance is Meru or Zion. It is Meru at the center of the earth, and that's home. That's where you go, and it's magnetism. And this is where all energy on this earth comes from, is through Mount Meru, and it pulsates out in a radial fashion, as Santos teaches. This is perfect. And a radial fashion is a circle, which is 360 degrees, which is 3, 6, and 9. And then no child is left behind because it's a circle, because everyone's included. There is no racism. There is no division. There's no divide and conquer in the spatial. That's electricity. That's a temporal wave. That's a circuit that can be overloaded and you blow a fuse, which is what people do every single day. When you come into alignment with magnetism, which is the Mother Mary in alignment to God at the center, that's the diamond, because she is the V below, which is the vagina, and he is the phallic above, which is the pineal. That's the pineal and the pituitary. That is what the
hyperbola and the torus, the dielectricity and magnetism, isn't it, Charlie?
Hey, Charlie, you nailed it. The Mount Zion, the stars are the 9-dimension visible light going into the crystal mountain in the center. And that is creating the 7-dimension, the archangel, the rainbow, the arc bow.
That's right. And that's all Santos. This is all Santos. This is the center of Santos's teachings, is exactly this. And there's nowhere else to go. There's nowhere else to go with this. And you can do this. You look into it, but there's nowhere else to go. It's the answer. It's the way. It's the home. That's what syncretism that Santos, that it came to him. He doesn't claim ownership. It came to him because he was in alignment to that frequency. And then that's the way. And there's really nothing else. You just have to align. And so stop busying yourself with a job every day. And just as Santos is learning to do now is just to own syncretism, wear syncretism, breathe syncretism, be syncretism. I'm comfortable at home, Santos says, because he's comfortable in his own skin. And that's always been the point.
But don't try to go to Mount Zion, because you are that. It's not a journey on your feet or with your physicality. It's an expression. Zion is the Z ion. It's a wave that you find in the surrender of your ego. The journey is ego, ego. Where do you go? E, which is blue, which is free, which is feminine, which is the truth. So it's all about surrender of the ego, which will take you to Mount Me Are You, because you have always been it. So this whole concept is within and without, which is why the world itself also expresses personas within inside your character, and also personas or persons within inside the law of the legal system of Babylon. There's such a beautiful, complex reality here for us to be able to be interacting with, to be able to see. And as we intertwine our awareness with it, again, the awareness can be so expansive, it can know everything from all ages. But never forget that you are the dreamer during this whole process, even intellectually. Continually remind the mind, if you have to, that I am the dreamer. I must be the dreamer, because the chicken and the egg. Where is the first human, and who was it, and how was it born? How could it have ever come into existence? Please tell me. Can anyone intellectually tell me how this could have ever come into being?
Yes.
Magic.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
I would
Sound,
love
man.
to hear this.
Yeah, man, sound. So the sound came here. It created this crystal.
Where did the sound come from?
The sound in the 12th dimension, I tell you the time, it's off and on switch like this.
Where did that switch come from?
Now time. Now no. Yes. No.
Okay,
no,
who sees the switch and what the 12th dimension? So what I'm expressing to you is the I, which sees, is the ultimate truth of all of these concepts. It is the I, the all-seeing I of the ultimate truth of all reality itself.
Well, Josh, of course, the witch of the sine wave switches on and off.
Yeah.
Well, and Josh, I love how you present that we are the unobservable. You know, it is that continual paradox. We can't ever observe that which is observing. So it's, you know, and so we can play with that concept all we want to, but again, don't fall prey to it. It is a trap to fall into. It's one to just surrender to, and knowing that that is all that there is.
So observing is love.
Yes.
And this is why you fall into love.
Yes.
And
Just like the concept of the individualized self is a beautiful tool. It's a beautiful aspect to add color and vibrancy to this creation and to give this expansiveness so we can learn from our each unique perspective, given the unique set of circumstances that got us exactly to this moment right here. But it is still a concept. This individualized self is a concept. So it's a tool to use, but it's not one to fall prey and trap to. A tool to elevate.
There must be a concept that is synchronizing your brain. So for example, all these stories in the past are all same stories. That means that my brain is going to start to synchronize itself. Click, 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 click. And when that happens, then I can really connect with these higher dimensions.
But the brain is the body. So if the brain is the body, then the body that dies, you shall never exist. This is what the Western world teaches, no?
What do you mean?
If you're saying it's all coming from the brain, then when the body goes, you won't exist anymore.
Yes, of course you exist. Your soul.
The brain is the receiver.
Yes, but
the brain is the receiver.
This
Wait, one sec, guys.
The body that can experience this reality, right? 3 dimension or 4.
I think there's a grand seer which sees even the one searching for the brain or physicality within inside. So
Yes, I agree, because that is how we can explain that with, if this is a screen like a television, I look at this, then I look at the 2D. When I look out from it, I look 3D because there is depth. But what is 4D? That is when I zoom out from myself and look at myself from above. And if I have the wrong program of what that above is, then I'm confused, lost at sea, because that's what they want to do with the globe model. Because then when I zoom out, I don't have the correct model. But when
and that's why the world serves great purpose here, because you correct the nature of Babylon or the world, which gives you the correct seeing, because the frequency of the world and Babylon gives you the very nature of the incorrect viewing. You're very much suffering, consistently suffering. You look at the negative outputs of life. Even negative is called negative, but it's not, it's the opposite. So the whole concept world of the Babylon is the reverse truth of the world for the very grand purpose of to enable on or to enable you. And that's where you correct yourself through the world and its teachings of suffering. And that's where the teachings of Jesus Christ speak of such suffering within the world. And life is suffering until one is the creator of life itself.
Yeah, God certainly loves a good story. And what makes a good story is that protagonist and antagonist, and then all of the vibrant characters in between.
Yeah.
And so of course, that's how it is, because what better way to experience than to have that intense experience with all of it.
And don't forget, we are in the experience now. So we need to see that this experience is life and be one with it and enjoy the experience, because we are and have been in search of experience the whole time. So let's be with the experience in the very moment and just spread joy and love and see and recognize that I see even right now a computer screen. And the very shape and geometry and the nature of this computer screen, it has texture, it has a certain smell, it has a certain heat. And I'm here with this, seeing this in this very moment. But if it's seen from the mind, this will elude me. And the nature of that seeing from the mind is interpreting it to me via a commentary. It's saying, this is what this is what this is, from the concepts that are harbored inside my intelligence. And it is that intelligence that needs to be surrendered to find the truth.
And
Otherwise,
Charlie, did you draw my face? Charlie, did you draw my face over here? But I was just going to say super quick, talking about Eden, I think the teacher presents him or herself when the student is ready. I mean, that's how listening happens. It's a two-way activity. It's communication. And so I think also Eden will present itself once we are ready. So I think both of you guys are saying the exact same thing. It's just a matter of an inward and an outward thing, because it's exactly the same, right? Really, it's the same thing. So when we are ready, that the Edenology will come to us. And I want Santos to speak because he hasn't spoken for a bit, and also Charlie to explain the board.
Yes, I just want to come in with a comment. ET phone home. They're going to come with the sources. Hey, I'm going to go, guys. Ciao. This is it. Bye-bye.
Allegorically, of course, just to clarify.
Yes, Santos, you want to come in?
Yeah. Okay. So Edenology, I like that. I've just gone through the numerology of all the different derivations of Atum, Adam, Eden, Edom, Aten, and primarily it all comes to one. Atum in the English cipher is 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, which is 10, which is 1. Adam is 1 plus 4 plus 1 plus 4, which is 10, which is 1. But the M is also the 13th letter. So if you don't reduce the 13th letter to a 4, you just add 13 to 6 and you get 19, which is 10, which is 1. So Adam, whether you reduce the M to 4 or leave it as a 13, the Adam in English means one. Atom, we know, means one because Thomas is a twin. So thereby, therefore, by inference, it's one. At 10, well, 10 is one. Eden equals 1. 5 plus 4 plus 5 plus 5 equals 19 equals 10 equals 1. Same with Eden. Same with Dan or DNA. DNA. Dan is 4 plus 1 plus 5. That's 10 equals 1. Same with man, the word man. M is 4, A is 1, N is 5. That's 10 equals 1. So we find that, as the Egyptian says, man is the measure of the universe. So when we understand, as you said before, Joshua, you said it's all mankind. You know, you've got a woman and a female. So the woman cannot escape manhoodness. She just can't. So the one is the two is the one. So yeah, there you go. And Andrew, Andros, and Dan is, of course, how you say Adam in Spanish, Adam. And danse is man in Japanese. So it's funny how they say a man is a Dan in Japan, you know. You wonder why it's so connected to Hebrew. Well, because there's only one language. Let's call it what Eugene called it, Edenology. Nada, yeah, nada. Well, how many nadis do you have in your? Nada means sound. The nadis, everything, and the word was sound. You know, the word. Well, the logos is sound. So, as the Egyptian said, man is the measure of the universe. Well, man is God. You know, and fractally, all the way up, all the way down. It doesn't matter. In the dream, it's the same one having the dream. You know, the bigger the God, the bigger the dream, the smaller the consciousness, the smaller the dream. Even if it's an insect, even if it's an insect, it's still a man, because it's a torus and an atom, and it's a Tom and an atom, and it's still a man. It doesn't matter whether it's a rock or a cricket or a scorpion or an eagle. It's all a man. See, we have all the archetypes in us because every wave must go through 12 conditions to complete the cycle. So all those different archetypes are embedded in every wave, and we're full of waves. Or in other words, we are waving in this sonoluminescent world, but we're not really in the transcendental world. That's a stillness. Yep.
And then, you know, he said 12. Well, 12 is really a 1 and a 2. It's a father and a mother, which really gives you a 3, which is the C, which is the clarity of Christ. So it's really all there, isn't it, in the one story?
Josh, did you want to enter? Because Josh has to leave us soon. So Josh, did you want to tie that together and then just say final thoughts?
Yeah, I just want to say it's an incredible thing just seeing everyone with such beautiful advanced gnosis. It's been a long time since I've been able to, you know, dedicate some time to seeing things such as this. So, yeah, big changes.
In this, what is your role? It's in many ways, it's like Santos today. Santos is sitting back going, wow, people are actually listening and people are actually doing something with what I've been saying. All is not for naught. And it's the same thing for you, Josh, tirelessly working with the language, breaking things down to one story, one verse, one song, one way. And now here you have this magnificent 7. And so much of the show is just taking what Santos has taught, what you have taught, and is applying it to all things and all moments, which is to be able now. And so that is that's the highest compliment to both you and Santos.
And I just wanted to say one thing. Each one of us here today in the chat have called the Magnificent Seven together. And in reality, this last week, I have been calling you all because I have been lost. I'm going to cry.
She was calling you.
So I want to thank you all for being you and for helping me to remember, you know, the Magnificent Seven turns out to be 199 in gematria. 199 is 9 plus 9 plus 1 is 19, is surrender. And that's all I had to do. And thank you for reminding me. And I know that there are so many people out there in this time who are feeling this thing. It's like, it's so ironic. The story that we're living is, you know, my grandson Dante's Inferno. And I'm going through the 7 layers of hell, or 9 layers, however many you want to think. And it's all about surrender. And that's how I get to heaven. And this is my story. You are all a part of my story. And thank you. You're so beautiful. And I couldn't imagine doing any of this without you. So obviously, I've created you. Thank you for being so beautiful. And being a part of this panel is just, you know, amazing. And I know that everybody in the chat, I've been watching them and they're just like blown away, absolutely blown away. So what a beautiful gift, you know, that we've been able to share with each other. And in a time when we've all felt lost, and the gnosis that's being shared is just epic and exactly at the right time that we needed it. So Eugene and Raji, thank you for your beautiful culmination and ideas of putting this together. And thank you all for coming, because wow.
I mean, Raji, Ra, and Eugene Linton, L needed to come together at some point. Ra and L is actually one. We know this from Israel. And just super quick, I want everyone to give some closing thoughts, because I think we should end the show here. Seems like Josh needs to go soon. Seems like Santos needs to go soon. Charlie needs to feed the dogs, and so and so. And also, I would love for us to do this maybe once a month or something. And it doesn't have to be tied down, you know, no attachments, right? Let it flow. Float really comes back to flow. So let's just float on these waters, right? And hopefully we'll see you on Aries, March 21st, as the sun rises again, and it's a new beginning.
Hey guys, thank you so much for everything. Colleen, beautiful, beautiful words. Brother Charlie, amazing. It's the Eugene, you know, brother, you know, I can't say anymore. And Justin, thank you so much for holding the space, creating the channel, everything. And Brother Santos, we are here because of you, man. I went to Portugal to meet AWA, you know, Pineal Foundation. It was because of you, man. You started all. It's because of you. So thank you, Brother Santos. And Josh, first time I talked with you, I'm sure we're going to have more talk, but I watched your videos. You were talking about Zion and Champion, the same thing I'm talking about. And I didn't even saw your movies before, so it's the same thing. So I just want to say from my heart, you know, I feel family. Finally, this whole family, 2022. It's over, guys. Game over for them. Our game is starting, and it's all about love. Thank you, guys.
Keep that energy high there, dear brother, and you stay exuberant. Thank you for your kind words. Thank you, everyone, for having me. And during this time of suffering, the suffering is only the mental projection that we have of ourselves and the way that we perceive the world to be. So if we can sweeten the way that we see the world, we can sweeten ourselves. This is fortune. Remember, it's fortuning. And this is the evolution of ourselves. It's all about being peaceful. But the road to peace is a very tough journey. So when times get tough, look to the moment, the presence. This is the gift. Mine does not exist here. It cannot exist here. and your freedom is here. Forget the highest, the seeing, the seer. Just be here and experience reality unfold. And what is presented to you in this moment is for you. Allow life to flow and respond. Don't try to control and react. If I can give a gift, is to put your attention to the virtues and see that when you apply the virtues, you find liberation. And then you'll continue to expand yourself through this. Clean the vessel, and the rest shall be revealed. Love, light, peace, and joy to everyone across the plane. I love you all. Thank you so much.
I just want to say it's 22:22 in my time right now, Spanish time.
Perfect time to end.
Love you so much, Brother Josh. Please, your finishing marks, Santos, Justin, and Charlie, and Colleen.
Much love, everyone. Be who you are, I am, and beyond. Thank you.
Amen.
Yeah, I mean, words are difficult to find to express the gratitude of being here in this moment. Waking up, seeing the post about this show last night and being so excited to watch it, and then getting a call from Eugene this morning asking me to participate in it. Wow, the highest honor I could possibly imagine, to be surrounded by you beautiful souls on this journey.
From Colleen.
Yeah. Yeah. And just to be here, you know, to have gone from finding Charlie and being introduced to this topic, and then him leading me to Santos and exploring all of that, and then coming to Josh and going on this health journey. And then Santos, I don't know if you remember the astrology reading we did together, but that was before I did my first show with Charlie. So that was long before I even went on to the stage. And there was very poignant, I go back and watch that, because there was very poignant things that you mentioned about, you're about to step into something big. Your voice is about to come out. And here it is. So I'm just in awe at this whole process. The last couple of years have just been so inspiring, so beautiful. And the fact that we can come together and have these discussions and then branch out to like grow our light together, and then to branch out to shine that light as brightly as we possibly can. What a gift. What an absolute joy and gift that we get to do this and get to come together and then go out and share the good news, spread the word. That's preaching. That is spreading the gospel. That is going out and spreading the truth. So thank you all for all that you have done in that service, in that mission, in that quest to find ourselves once again. And I'm so truly honored to be here. And, you know, I'm sure you've seen all of us laughing as Josh breaks down the words, as Santos breaks down the words, as Charlie breaks down the words, and Colleen shares the wisdom. I can't contain it. I cannot contain it, because it rings so true to every facet of who I am and what I'm about, and that's that familiarity that we all have within us. When we hear the truth, we know that is the truth. And then when we accept that, when we surrender to that truth, then it resonates in every facet of our being. So, man, I am overwhelmed. I am overwhelmed and exactly where I need to be. So thank you all so much. Thank you all so much.
Work. You are an incredible being yourself, dear brother. It is you who has brought yourself here.
Thank you.
Absolutely, Justin. Again, you're an integral part of this crew, and you stand as an equal to all of us, because you've done the work. And that's the thing that if I can stress one thing to everyone is this: you've talked about certain things for a long time. Now it's time to actually physically do. And then, as Santos said at the beginning of the show, you will transcend the doing into the observation, which is an observation tower, because you are the light of the world. And then you will observe that you've already been doing this, and you're just in awareness, which is consciousness, which is what you are, that it was already here all the time. And you just went on this circuitous journey to remember that you are all one with the one. And that's why I take surrender, because surrender is 19 and 1 and 9 is 10, which is 1, and it all adds back up to 1. So you've got to do the work until you become so proficient at doing this work of going within that you realize there's no work to be done. There's simply the joy in the observation that all is atum, all is in a perfect movement, a perfect dance between masculine and feminine, above and below, within and without, red shift and blue shift, left and right. It's all unified in this universe, in this uni moment of the one. And that's all we ever needed to do. And again, for all those listening, that's what Justin has done. He doesn't just talk the talk, he walks the walk. And what Justin just experienced recently by asking a certain person to leave and all the shitstorm that followed, what does that tell you? There's no shitstorm from Justin. He did what he had to do because there's one way. The fallen one who created the shitstorm did what they have to do because they can do nothing else. They're fallen and they haven't realized the reason to fall is to rise and rise again. Why do we fall, Bruce Wayne? So that you can rise and rise again. Who the hell do you think the Wayne family are? Wayne family are the Kennedys. Who's Bruce Wayne? That's John F. Kennedy Jr. Fibonacci. What is the 9th variation of the Fibonacci sequence? Fibonacci, 1 and 1 is 2, 1 and 2 is 3, 2 and 3 is 5, 3 and 5 is 8, 5 and 8 is 13. Think of that variation, crucifixion, 5 and 13. And then 13 and 8 is 21, and 13 and 21 is 34, and 34 and 21 is 55. The 9th variation of the Fibonacci spiral, the divine 9th is 55, J is 10, F is 6, K is 11, J is 10, R is 18, JFK Jr. is 55. So please, whatever anyone wants to think about Q or whatever, that's on you to do or not do the research on this. But simply know, as Raji said, maybe, just maybe, while everything was happening in the sky above, maybe, just maybe, it happened on this earth below. And maybe, just maybe, those that have been working behind the scenes to be able to take down ultimate evil are those of this perfect seed, which is this one story, this one truth, which is syncretism, which is entirely what Santos teaches. It is the one story of Jesus Christ. And just remember this, Krishna is Christ, Buddha is Christ, Zarathustra or Zoroaster is Christ. It's the one story. They stand in alignment with the one story. And they came first, and all of us, including Santos, stands on the shoulders of giants. Giants, because they were giant of the mind, not small of the body. They were strong, not weaks. Their 52 strongs are completion. Our 52 weeks are a wheel that we go around and around again until we learn to become strong. Strong in the truth, which is that you are all things in all moments. You are one. All is one, which is Atum, which is the center teaching point of what Santos has done. So again, to Josh and to Santos, again, so much of what's happened today is because of your tireless, selfless efforts to seek the light and the truth and the way. And reason why we all smile, because we're sick and fucking tired of the lies. That's all we've ever heard are lies. And then there was Santos Bonacci, and Colleen and I smiled and we said, oh my goodness, we actually found someone who is teaching this truth that we've discovered. And then there's Josh, and we're going, oh my God, there's somebody else. There's two of them that are teaching this truth. And to think that there were two of them out there was just a gift from the heavens, because there was nobody. There was nobody. Nobody cares. Nobody wins until you realize that we've always been here and the truth is all around us. And all you have to do is get the mucus out of your head. The reason why people can't hear Josh X is because they're ear to ear full of mucus. That's why, because they think killing and eating putrefied death gives life. Just stop and wrap your mind around that one. Suspend your disbelief, let go of the ego, and just stop in that moment, and don't let go of that moment until such time that you've ascended to it, which is ownership of it, and that is the realization. You are murdering, you are force breeding, raping, murdering, torturing, injecting with death, and then consuming dead, rotting flesh. And remember, there's no carnivore in the world that eats dead, rotting flesh. They lap blood. They're lappers of blood. That's the life. They're eating, the carnivore is taking the purity of the kill, which is the life. And if they eat anything as an organ, because the organs are filled with blood, and it's the jackdaws, and it's the hyenas, and it's the runt of the litter that sneaks up in the end and gnaws at this rotting flesh. Is that what you are?
Can I say one thing to this very beautiful speech at the end? Sorry, it brought in another thing to share, but I've just finished a 7-day water fast, and if one ever embarks on the journey of abstaining for such a period of time from food, I would suggest if one still has a belief that meat or the consumption of any type of produce that you would find in the Western world in packages on the shelves rather than on a tree, you spread a table of food, and then you put some strawberries on there, and you cut open a papaya, coconut, and a mango. Put some grains on there, maybe some nuts, maybe some seeds. Chop, some cubes of pork up, but leave the hair on, and the skin, and the fat, and some chicken, and some beef. And then you present yourself to this table, and you go around each item and smell. And you smell each item, and you see that the fruits are sweet, and they resonate, and the mouth salivates, and the water, and you get to the grains, and there's no salivation, there's no desire for this food. The nuts, no, there's nothing here. And then you smell the meat, and you feel sick, and you want to vomit. And you see that the only way that one can consume foods that aren't actually designed for themselves is by hiding them from all of the senses. Every sense. Seasoning, cooking, smell, taste, touch, all of these things has been disconnected from these beings. The animals are a business. The world is a business. It's busyness. If I can suggest one thing, is the seed. Is the CD. D is form, to see form. And we find ourselves to these temperate zones where we need no heating and we need no air conditioning. And we can plant our own food and watch the magic of creation unfold itself and drop fruit and food for you effortlessly, forevermore, without the need for commerce, without the need for any interaction with the world. And see that truth is always found in simplicity. And simplicity is the key to happiness. Every single part of the process, even your diets, let's say one's on a plant-based diet, and they're chopping and washing and doing all these things because every food still has some chemical on it. Unless you've grown it yourself, you need the plates, you need the cutlery, you need to wash up, you need the sink. But if one has the fruit, you can eat the fruit, and what left goes to the soil. The seeds go in the ground, and the animals can feed too. The soil becomes regenerated. There's microbiome in the soil which refeeds the food to a higher mineral which exists unseen to most beings here. The body is made of light. DNA is light. Photons and amino acid code the body to light. Food is lacking light. So let's do this. We're here experiencing life. We have evolved ourselves to a greater space of seeing. Let's all find ourselves, give our attention to the truth and apply it in action, and find ourselves in a space where we don't exist in a place that has a growing season for 2 months, a very cold winter, no life. shops full of sickness and disease, corporations, their choice. And we have choice in each moment. We have a choice to choose attention on the mind or attention on the moment. See here and continue to take the right choice. And in that right choice, the action will evolve you. If you're looking for evolution, it's the right choice of the righteous. And then observe. And then your observations you will know. And it's only found in your moment. The magic moment. It has never, ever not been with you. Thank you all for the time. Thank you for the space.
You so much.
I love you all.
I love you so much, man. And I think you'll all agree, and I don't think agree is the right word. Don't agree or disagree. I think you guys all see that when you lose the belief, you come up on that which is firm, immovable, and a solid rock, a solid foundation, and is stationary. So I think Charlie wanted to finish his last words, and I think after that, Colleen should end. Because usually we're ladies first, but here I think ladies should go last and finish this. And I think it makes sense because the mother is the earth and the earth is the theater. So end the theater, guys.
Well, really quickly, just remember that this show had to happen today with the Magnificent 7199, and that this is a Tuesday. Do you think that this is an accident, that this is a Tuesday? Tuesday is Tuesday. And this day is all about the twos. And so everything is happening exactly the way that it's supposed to. There are no such things as coincidences, only the cabal, which are the liars. They'll tell you that, everything is just a random occurrence, but no, there are no such thing as occurrences. Everything is happening perfectly because there is a Father, there is a Creator, there is one in the beginning, the grand architect of all. And all you ever have to do is get into alignment to him. And I'm going to leave you with a controversial thing for some, but it's the truth. The answer has always been about aligning yourself to what is real, what is truth, what is upon the level, and what is level in terms of ending this currency of the maritime admiralty waterways, returning to gold and silver. Silver is AG, which is 1 and 7, which is 17. 17 is Q. And gold is, which is 121, because A is 1 and U is 21, 121. And if you add 17 and 121 together, which is silver and gold, it equals 138. And what else is 138 in gematria? Oh, well, somebody by the name of Donald Trump is 138. The unit Jesus, 138. God has birth code, 138. Lord is coming, 138. Baron Trump, 138. Mystic Lord, 138. Hidden Pattern, 138. The Master of Coin, 138. Jesus is here, 138. Are you ready? 138. Divine Feminine, 138. It's happening, 138. Ouroboros, 138. Queen of Heaven, 138. Spirit of God, 138. The Wise Lord, 138. Master Mason, 138. Cancel culture, 138. Glory to God, 138. There you go.
Decode the message.
I'm
38.
I'm sure that's just a coincidence, but have it your way. And 138, if you break it down, 138, 4 and 8 is 12, which is completion. And that's where we're headed to, is the completion of this insane dualistic world, which is the lie, the illusion. Santos calls it perfectly a delusion, which is to take away the light. And then this is the return to the light, which is illumination. And that's what Freemasonry is all about. So don't let people tell you Freemasonry is a bad thing. What you're experiencing now through Freemasons is not Freemasonry. They call it Freemasonry to muddy the waters, but what they say doesn't matter to a hill of beans. They're just liars. That's all they do is lie. God is the truth and the way. Collywog, final thoughts.
Final thoughts. Well, all roads lead to home. So each and every one of us has a path, and it's beautiful that they are all expressed differently. And thank you all for sharing your beautiful paths with me today. And I can't wait to embrace all of you physically as we, thank you, Justin, as we journey forward to bring so much love back into this beautiful world, this Edenology. Thank you for that one, Eugene. That was brilliant. Edenology, I love it. So yeah, back to the garden.
Back to the mother. Thanks. Thank you, Colleen. You're perfect.
Thank you so much, guys. Much love to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care. We love you all.
Thank you.
All right.
We love her.
Love everybody.